This episode is brought to you in part by Squarespace because it's time to turn your great idea into a reality with Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project, whether you're showcasing your work or selling products of any kind. They've got beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything. That's right, you can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself. But if you do get stuck, Squarespace has 24/7 award-winning customer support that's there to help you. Head over to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Oh, it's so spacious in here.
I know. Yeah.
Just like
Still kind of stinks a little bit.
sticking my elbows out to both sides and not hitting anybody.
That's kind of
I can see you guys. There's no longer a giant monitor in front of me.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
Hey, Jan.
Hey guys, I've been here the whole time.
Can we get a monitor or something to go right here?
I'll bring it back.
That'd be handy.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like a swamp in here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, speak for yourself.
It's Giant Bombcast. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Hi.
It's December
Hi.
the something.
I'm going to put my feet up.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's your house.
That's right.
It's almost 2019.
Jesus.
Today's let's say the 11th.
Well,
Yeah,
let's,
pulling that
let's
off.
say the 11th because it probably, well,
I think you nailed
pulling
it.
that off the top of my head.
I mean, it is. Yeah.
Okay, great. Super on top of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Today here
Nice.
in the studio.
Brad,
for
I'm
this podcast.
excited to be here.
Yeah.
Because gaming's cool now.
Oh, is it?
Finally.
Says who?
Says content creator of the year?
That's right. Trending content
Trending-
creator.
Not
of the
trending
year.
gamer of the year.
Yeah.
Was it Ninja? It was Ninja.
Ninja.
You said that Drake made gaming cool now.
Wait. What? Is that really where this came from?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Gaming used to be lame, but then Drake did it, and now
Thanks,
have
Drake.
3 Xboxes.
I don't
I
even
mean, I get it because it sure as fuck wasn't Ninja. So it's
Look,
got to
like,
be somebody.
Look, I am in no way an arbiter of cool, but I get the impression that maybe Drake is not especially
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
So
no, that's,
I don't want to say ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. There was
Yeah.
a window there, like
Sure.
where like fucking problems was out, and then it's like started from the bottom. There was like that whole album, that era,
Yes.
from there to like back to back.
And like even when he got on Twitch with Ninja, that was a cool thing that happened. Everyone
Yeah.
was excited
Yeah,
about it.
it was
a
like,
neat
oh,
little-
weird.
But
But also like then it was a situation
Kim.com
where like
got on.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a weird. It was like a weird thing Drake
was a
did
fun
one
day.
night and then probably forgot about.
Yeah.
But for like all these incredibly thirsty people in video gaming, it was like suddenly, oh my god, the biggest thing, and like it was a big moment.
Yeah.
For me, it was a big
Yeah.
moment for Fortnite.
And it was a big moment for Twitch.
And Twitch,
they hit a
yeah.
set of
Sure,
a
yeah.
viewership record and stuff. Yeah.
Which Twitch and Fortnite might as well be the same thing at this point.
he forgot
thought
about
they
it like
were.
he forgot about his son. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then hasn't he put out some material since then?
Oh, yeah.
And weren't people kind of like, nah?
Nah, yeah, exactly.
little all over.
I thought Views was pretty miserable, and then was it Scorpions, the album that came out after that?
Yeah.
Rock you
Just
like a hurricane.
fucking terrible. Just fucking abysmal.
Winds of change, man, and the
Pop rap.
the
Yeah,
anthem,
that's
the anthem of a
exactly-
generation.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know. Like, it's funny. I want to like Drake
Same.
because I think when Drake is good, he can be great.
I think you just need to make him angry because you're right. Back
Yeah,
to Back is probably one of
exactly.
the hottest releases
Yeah,
he's made.
that's definitely.
But now he's friends with Meek Mill now.
Yeah, what the fuck? That whole thing was just a fake. That whole thing was just some phony ass.
Meek Mill wound up getting a divorce because of this beef.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't because.
Okay, you're right.
I don't know. That whole thing seemed like wrestling to me, like pre-planned. Like, oh, Meek, you gotta go away for a little while anyway. Like, whatever. You'll come back hotter.
You're saying even the rap beef is staged now.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
6ix9ine,
think
that
so.
garbage troll.
Oh, fucking shit. Goddamn.
Going to prison as a goof.
Yes, and then racketeering. And then snitching on everyone, even though he said he'd never snitch.
Oh, well, whoops. Weird how that works.
And then 50 Cent just abandoning him.
No.
Not
See,
50 Cent.
the, like 50 Cent Ja Rule stuff. Now that's funny. That's good.
There was a story recently that was like
50 Cent bought out
yeah.
the first like 6 rows of the Ja Rule concert and didn't like just bought the tickets. So like nobody was there in the front.
Jokes on 50. Those seats weren't going to sell out anyway. Like, who the fuck's going to go see Ja Rule in 2018?
And the people that did, good for them, because they got to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Free upgrades.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fifth.
Not the best businessman.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think like ever since the surgical summer fell off and Pusha T did not follow up on to Drake in the harshest of ways past that stuff, that you know, it's just been.
But if he did that, then gaming would take a hit.
That's true.
It's cyclical, you're right.
If Push goes hard on Drake, then what's that say about video games?
What happens to Mario?
Mario has to respond, I think, at that point. And there's a whole thing. Like, Mario's going to be fucking waiting outside the studio in a car with a fucking 9 real low, just looking around. Just, you know, this how it works. That's how it works.
Well, I'm glad we have a cool podcast now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
We're
Red
not
Bull
in the-
said so, and Drake has, like, tangentially given his blessing.
By proxy.
We've moved from the gaming section of iTunes to the cool
Here
section.
right,
we
yeah.
are, Drake's favorite podcast on the internet.
That's right. John Drake's favorite podcast on the
Yeah,
internet.
that goes without saying.
I'm just putting words in his mouth, too. I like to think we are, but who could say?
There are games out, amazingly, for it being almost the middle of December. I
Yeah.
feel like there's like half a dozen things to talk about.
Yeah, they
all
keep
kinds
pushing
of
stuff out. Yeah, a lot of stuff came out of like
kinds
the
of
Game Awards. And
Yeah, like things surprise launched and Smash Brothers came out and
There's a whole new store.
stuff that stuff,
Epic.
stuff that has been long in development just sort of dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about Smash
Yeah, that's
as we have not yet done so.
Super Smash Bros.
I hear-
Ultimate.
It's a real chore to unlock all those characters.
I let my copy run down there. Actually, it's on the floor right now.
Does
Just
that
waiting
do it?
Sometimes.
Like, does
There's a
it
whole
just like
thing,
time put into the
It
game?
can
unlock
be,
characters?
or you can rig the system if you turn it off and then turn it on
Did
again.
you like tape a button down or something?
No, yeah, I wish I could. I wish I could do that. That would be simpler than what's going on to me right now. Like I've got like 2 or 3 like more characters to unlock, and they're not popping up in the usual methods.
Which
So
are?
I don't know which ones they are.
No. What are
the methods?
Yeah, just like, is it Tekken? You just play through it over and over and get more characters?
Yeah,
There's
you can do
a
that.
lot of different ways
There's a
to
lot of
get
different
characters.
ways.
Pretty much almost everything you do in that game goes towards unlocking characters.
because it's almost like a time.
Yeah.
Like the reason people are turning it off and on again is because it'll disrupt the timer.
Yeah, it's usually like a 10-minute timer. Or
I've
something
seen people
like
say
that.
it measures button presses in
Yep.
matches. I've seen just all sorts of
Wait, they don't even
information.
tell you how to unlock
No,
characters?
absolutely
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So there's 2 guaranteed ways to unlock all the characters, and that is either by playing through World of Light, which is the single player mode, which will take we'll talk about it.
That's all I need to say.
That might as well be the only mode in that game, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know.
And then somebody found that I saw it on a Japanese site, but basically, so you got 8 starting characters. It's the original 8 from the original
That's it?
Super Smash Brothers
What?
on N64.
How many are in the game? Like 70 something?
Everyone is there.
What? 8 characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it was enough for Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And each of them, if you
Back
play
in-
through on classic mode, works towards unlock. So you can get all the characters through different combinations of playing that original 8 through classic mode. So I don't know. I kind of like it. I feel like it's a thing that only works in Smash. Like no other fighting game can do this sort of thing. Nothing that claims to be competitive.
Are you saying that Smash players are apt to put up with more bullshit than other people?
I mean, they play Smash Brothers, so they'd have to be.
I mean, you
He
come
said
to
it.
this game for Nintendo bullshit.
right?
That's,
yeah,
that's the reason you're
like,
here.
I think.
I
so,
can't believe you're
so-
saying this
so
about
I ended
Nintendo
up.
people.
I ended up buying the Smash Brothers over the weekend.
I do every goddamn time. Every goddamn
don't.
time.
Sounds like you don't
yeah.
like Smash and you're mad that it's Smash.
I don't know how many people.
I fucking hate it.
I saw a litany of people on Twitter saying exactly that. Like, I buy it every time, I play it for 2 hours, and then I never touch it again.
Yeah,
I don't know what's
that's-
wrong with me.
That's the trajectory I'm on right now. But also, but that Spirit mode, I actually might get me to play it a lot longer. And I will say, as someone who's like not a subscriber to Nintendo's online service, will probably never play against a human in this game. it's nice to have something to work for.
Yeah.
Like to have like these characters be unlockable and something like that. Because otherwise, I would look at it and go like, okay, I don't. All right, I'm done. Everyone's here.
Are the playable characters also spirits, or are the spirits
No, the
separate
spirits
characters?
are separate.
Or can playable characters also act as spirits?
No.
Or they're totally separate?
Spirits are just like a buff system.
Yeah,
Who's
that's like
a spirit, like Revolver Ocelot?
Yes.
Okay.
Ness's
think so,
dad.
yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wait, Ness has a dad?
It's an invisible fighter you play against.
Is it
That's kind of the joke.
Is it Nestor?
yeah,
God,
probably.
no.
Yeah,
Don
Howard Phillips.
Bongo.
yeah, Don Bongo. I got the Don Bongo spirit. And then they're like primary spirits, and then spirits you equip on the spirits to give buffs,
You got
like
spirits
additional
on
buffs.
spirits on
yeah.
spirits.
All the way down.
Okay.
That sounds right.
That's a lot.
But even
that's-
then, like the spirits are just like, hey, this is gonna put an attack number and a type on it, so you can be like, this is an attack spirit, and I'm fighting a defense spirit, so that's weak or strong or whatever. The
It's
rock,
like a
paper,
kind of
scissors-y type
fire
shit.
emblem
Yeah.
weapons
Okay.
triangle thing
That's
to the
kind of-
spirits.
That's a cool idea.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think that mode is clever and cute and all that stuff. And
It's just
and
full of a lot of cool little fan servicey
Yeah.
things.
Well, what's different
like
about
that
it?
stuff.
Like, what are you doing to unlock those? Is it
well,
still
you're
fighting?
You're on a world
it
map,
still
just,
just-
fighting your way through it,
Okay.
and so you're walking up to a glowing spot, hitting A, and then fighting.
So,
what's
so it's just
there.
a different progression
Yeah.
of the same kinds of fights.
Well, so they're special rules fights. Like, remember that was it like the Edgemaster mode in Soul Calibur, where
yeah.
they would start layering on different rules and stuff. So they'll come up with rules that might make sense for the spirit you are fighting.
That's cool.
Which is like, so they, even though that spirit's not technically a playable character, they can try to evoke things from that spirit.
Like the chorus kids from Rhythm Heaven, those little like white little guys with the huge mouths that sing along to Rhythm Heaven songs. The equivalent of fighting the chorus kids is you fight 3 Jigglypuffs that use the move Sing a lot more often. And they're, it's like they kind of look like them. They do similar moves to what that character would move. It's meant to kind of evoke that you're fighting this character without actually fighting
if,
them.
if the spirit is infesting this fighter,
Aha.
it's kind of the storyline reason for it or whatever. And I just like seeing the clever things they come up with to like make the fighting rules match the spirit
Yeah, that's
with
cool.
with the tools they have to work with. I think that's cute and neat.
It gets a little like anytime it's an anime character, it's like, oh, it's gonna be a Fire Emblem guy.
Yeah.
Like there's certainly limits to it, but I think that I played through about I would say half of that mode, and I was still just like, oh, I'd have like at worst it'd be like, oh, that's clever. The fights though can get a little rough.
I mean, the fight, you push the button and then Smash Brothers happens.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like my least favorite part of this game is the part where you play it, and everything else around it. Like, I just wish that Nintendo applied this level of like, check out all this wild shit from our history and the history of video games to anything other than this.
No joke. Yeah.
Because man, you have to play Smash Brothers, and
So what's up with the single player mode? Is it just playing Smash Brothers?
I mean that's
Well-
the Spirit mode is the big single player.
Oh,
mode.
is that World of Light?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same. They are the same thing.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's like a classic arcade mode style progression if you want that, and some other modes
I
like
actually
that.
do
but the
like
World
that.
of Light
because,
is-
World-
yeah, there's some very clever moments in that as well, where they do the same kind of thing. Like I'm fighting like Dracula at the end of my run or something like that, and he actually has like the same attack patterns that he does in like
Yeah.
Symphony of the Night.
Okay,
or,
so,
like
so,
Rondo of
so
Blood.
the spirit stuff is the new Subspace Emissary, basically.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yes.
yeah.
Or the closest thing to. Okay.
Yeah, it's the closest thing to a story mode.
Okay.
You get like a cutscene at the beginning, and then not really much else until I assume the end.
But it's neat. And then every time I quit that out, it tries to unlock a character on me. So because presumably I've played enough of it to trigger that.
So they're just happening. Without,
Yeah, totally.
Without any.
That's kind of how it's always been.
Huh.
But what happens is it loads up a fight against the character you're trying to unlock, and you have to win to unlock the character.
But no checklist of things to work toward. No, nothing. Just
And
play the game of.
But there is a separate thing that is a checklist of things you can
Yeah.
unlock and panels to open up and stuff that are all like. Some of those challenges are crazy because it'll be like, oh, knock out 3 guys with Luigi doing this and that. Like that's where it gets crazy specific to unlock that. But that doesn't necessarily lead to character unlocks directly. In a way.
But it might. It sounds
They'll
like
unlock
Nah.
spirits.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I guess some of them do unlock spirits. Maybe.
but not characters. So
I feel like, going back to what I was saying about the character unlock system, I think it works in this game for me because it's a game about just experiencing what Nintendo has crammed into this game. And that includes, like, I knew the full roster coming in, but I was still, you know, whenever I saw the new challenger screen and a silhouette would pop in, there'd be like a brief moment of, who is this? Oh, it's Wolf. Like,
Right.
that's cool. And I feel like it encourages people to try out a lot of characters. Where I think it can get really frustrating is in Jason's situation where you're down to like a couple more, or if you have like one character you're really interested in, like, oh, I really want to play King K. Rool, and you're just not getting King K. Rool. I could imagine that being frustrating. So I wish there was some sort of additional way to maybe spend coins to unlock a character, or spend coins to challenge a character to unlock.
And I think some of the
or-
stuff that, you know, we were talking about pre-release about with the unlocks, we're like, oh man, what, you know, this is going to be annoying in a tournament setting and all this other stuff. And then I realized, like, oh wait, like the people that like the tournament set, like that's the worst part about Smash Brothers. Like, I don't get, like, fine, I don't want the game to be crafted to that. Like, this is a better experience probably for the most of the people playing the game who are not in that situation. So I get it, but at the same time, they should probably have an unlock all at some point for
tournament
people that
organizers dirty with this. Like that super sucks.
I mean, that game should be viewed as a party game alongside Mario
people
Party
can
and stuff
view
like
it
that.
how they want to view it.
But
like,
but
people
also
should
like
be able to play the game competitively if they
you're
want
right,
to.
but I don't necessarily think the game needs to be catered to that if that's not their vision for the game.
Yeah,
Surely
know.
half the Smash community must have unlocked all the characters by now.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's kind of the other thing.
they'll just
but
bring
also
save
then it
files.
becomes like, you know, hey, now we need a bunch of switches that have the stuff unlocked to run this tournament.
we
Like,
need you to
that'll-
leave your Switch here
yeah,
for
like
6
that'll,
hours.
that'll be a fucking pain in
with
the ass.
with the right profile signed in to
Exact-
access all
yeah,
that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
that
like,
will suck
yeah.
at some point
Yeah.
for people.
It's like, oh, we don't have enough stations. Like, oh, somebody's gonna have to stay up all night unlocking all these characters
Seriously,
or something.
yeah, so, and unfortunately, I see what you're saying about you know, jumping around from character to character, experiencing more of them. Unfortunately, I had the exact opposite experience in that. Like, I had one or two characters that I knew that I was good at. See, when, you know, the characters, you know, when the siren goes off, right, and you got a new character to unlock, you know, you fight them right away with that character that you currently have.
Right.
And I didn't know that you could rematch them in another menu.
In like a sub menu.
Yeah, in like a sub menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not clearly explained to me. So
No.
it's like I thought that I was going to have one shot at them, and then it's like, fuck, I don't want to waste my time, so I'm going to keep using the same character that I know that I'm okay with.
Yep.
Until I found out much later. After I had unlocked like 40 some characters. It's
What
like,
happens?
man.
What happens if you lose the fight?
So that it comes up and says you'll get another chance to fight them.
Yeah, they'll
later.
come around
But-
later.
And then, like, after I think like 2 more fights, it popped up the hint that said, "Hey, if you go into this menu, there's a place you can go to like redo that fight right away."
I missed that.
I missed that too. I only knew it because somebody else told me.
Okay,
But
yeah.
like,
it popped up and said it, and I was like, "Wait a minute! Oh, okay, I can just go do this."
if you go into like the single player menu, there's a little door that pops up in the corner. If you click on the door, it'll challenge you any one of the fighters that you have unlocked and failed to beat. So like I had 3 that I just kept losing to, and so it would just kind of cycle through those 3. But the nice point is at that point you can pick your character. So if you were running into that issue, like if you were like, oh shit, I was just trying Jigglypuff and I have no idea how to actually play Jigglypuff, but now I have to fight Isabelle.
Man, once I figured that out, man, it's a windfall of characters. Oh, that was great. Oh, that felt good. But no, I believe it or not, I have actually been having quite a bit of fun playing the single player stuff, like just doing the classic mode because of the interesting and clever, sometimes funny takes that they have on.
They totally
like,
didn't have
that-
to do anything special with that classic mode.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's just some of the dumb stuff, like I did Pac-Man's like classic run or something like that, and it's like, you know, throwback to old NES games and stuff like that. So like each fight is geared around that, or
like Ken's is you fight against the rival character of each of the you know,
like you fight Wolf,
Yeah.
you know, as opposed to Star Fox, and yeah, there's
because
lots
he's
of
the number 2.
yeah, there's lots of neat stuff in there. And like Jeff said, I wish that this would be applied to different games as well. Maybe not Smash. My thing with Smash, all right. So I buy it every time. I hate it because it's to me it's neither a fighter or a platformer. Like it's
Right, it's a
like-
platform fighter.
but it's
it doesn't
to me
feel, it doesn't feel good as either.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the platforming feels bad because they make you use an analog stick,
Right.
and
Or a jump button.
yeah.
And those are on the top. Anyway, but I always want to, because I respect the people that do play it because they're supremely invested in that series. They have a good ass time, and I want to have a good ass time with them. So if I like go to a party or something and everybody, you know, is playing Smash, I want to partake in that as well. So I secretly buy them and I play them, and I'm like, no, these are not for me.
See,
But
the approach you need to take is if you go to a party and they're playing Smash Brothers,
Just fucking
leave.
leave.
Just,
Just
feel like,
leave.
oh, this is
I
not
think-
this is not the party for me.
yeah, I think I'm slowly coming to that.
But that's like, and I got this one after we did the quick look. Like I was like, whatever, who cares? And then I sat in on that quick look and was like, okay, no, there's like, it's crazy how much there is to it.
Yeah.
And
I like
the
seeing that
way
stuff.
it celebrates like both like weird moments across Nintendo's history, and then also the weird reaches into some of Namco's stuff, and Solid Snake and whatever. Like the stuff they're doing there, I think is amazing. Like this game has fucking 12 songs from Sonic the Hedgehog in it.
Oh, I
it
can't
has
even-
Escape from the fucking City in it. That hellish, just nightmarish song.
Got a Mega Man EXE track in there.
Yeah, there's like
Battle
all
Network.
kinds. Like
I think I played the Castlevania soundtrack for like 2 hours. or something like that.
they've got and the stuff that they're pulling from, it's not always just thrown in there haphazardly. Like I think it was in the previous game, the Wrecking Crew stage. Was that something that's not new to this game, right? But like, it's not just like, hey, look at this stage, whatever. It's, hey, look at this stage, and the bombs work like they did in Wrecking Crew, and the game kind of like it is more evocative of that game than it should be. It's like they went out of their way to be like, no, we're not just gonna fucking like go like, hey, remember Wrecking Crew? Because no one fucking remembers Wrecking Crew. I remember no one, but they're like pulling in more elements from it. Like they have the elevator stage from the original Donkey Kong in there, and you can pick up the fucking purse. There's just like all sorts of like stuff where they went out of their way to make that stuff work better and hit more of those kind of like, hey, remember this kind of moments than just, hey, look at this stage.
Yeah, there's an original Mario Brothers level, with the turtles coming out of the pipe.
Right,
You smack them from underneath, and they flip
Like,
over.
It
You can pick up
works.
that
It works the
turtle
way
shell.
it
Yeah.
should, and that's the part that's really cool for me. But also the double-edged part of just like, man, I wish this was any game other than this.
We got an email about this exact topic before we move on from this. I'm just going to read real fast from Mitchell. Smash Ultimate features some fantastic and clearly respect-driven references to Street Fighter, Castlevania, Metal Gear, and other various crossovers. The one notable exception is Final Fantasy. While there are assist trophies, spirits, and items from other crossovers, all you get is Cloud, the Midgar stage, and a measly 2 FF7 tracks and nothing else, which is the same as you got in previous Smash and previous DLC and crossover characters.
Also, his costumes. Like, he doesn't have like additional colors for his costumes. He's got 2 different costumes, like an A side, B side, and that's it.
Yeah,
and I
and-
think that's the only character that does that.
Yeah, this has crossover characters like Ryu and Mega Man and even Snake, who was missing for a game, all got extensive new stuff. This is compared to 30-plus tracks each for Castlevania, Metal Gear, Mega Man, and Street Fighter, on top of tons of spirits.
There's no
I
Final
don't-
Fantasy spirits.
I don't think Cloud is even used in a single spirit battle.
Spirits are within.
So what's the deal? Is this just the thing they had to do to get Square to agree? And what would the logic be for limiting your own representation and generally being a bit of a party pooper?
That's probably like yet another weird move from Square. I'm guessing that they're like that's good. This is just Square being fiercely protective of its stuff, and also it might be the case that like maybe they got to pay somebody royalties on those music rights. So if they pull in more tracks, then suddenly that's more money that Square's got to pay somebody that they don't want to pay anymore. Like whatever it is. That's probably just Square being weirdly protective, overly protective of that IP.
And I mean, think about it. Like, if they've got the Final Fantasy VII remake in the works, they want to be able to control the Final Fantasy VII messaging as much as they can. And so, putting a really strict clause out there for Nintendo to be like, okay, this is exactly what you can talk
Here's
about.
the narrow window you can use, and nothing else. That's. I mean, I agree that that's lame. But I think that's probably where they would be coming from on that.
It just sticks out because they're the only one that like aren't playing ball.
Yeah, they should have just cut him from the game. Almost everyone is here.
Right.
I will say before we move on to Smash that I have a couple issues with it's very small but weird issues with the game that you just kind of don't see anymore in a lot of modern games. Like there's one problem where if you go into a specific thing in training mode, you can't exit training without just resetting the console. Like there's no exit menu that pops up. There's no way to straight up you get stuck in training mode.
I don't know that's true. I got it down here.
Well, it's not just like I can show you exactly what it is, but like I've seen, professional Smash players tweeting about like,
Really?
I'm stuck in here. Does anyone else have this problem? And it's just a bunch of people saying,
Really?
it's like you have to. I'll show you
Okay.
on the break.
Okay.
But,
All right.
and then lastly, the online. I haven't gotten a chance to play much of it myself, but I see people. So you can't unlock. You guys aren't going to care about this, but you can't just straight up unlock the ability to go online and play 1v1s against people.
Right.
You have to unlock like what's it called? It's called like Master Smash or something. There's like another mode you basically
It's
unlock.
like it's almost like ranked or something
man.
like that. Yeah.
But to do it, you have to just play a bunch of random matches where you might just get put in like 4-player max item random stages. And I honestly I think that the hyper competitive people should be placed in something like this more often, just to be like, hey, remember, this is where Smash started.
This is what the game actually is,
And,
not
like,
your
you-
weird.
You can enjoy your weird thing, but also you need to realize that this is something that, like, you're going to play against some, like, 6-year-old who's playing the game for the first time and just have fun with it, play around with the items and do stuff. But also, like, if you are a competitive Smash player and that's, like, your livelihood, you're a sponsored player or something, and you can't go practice even against other people without being able to 1v1, like, that seems like a weird thing to admit out the gate.
Yeah, but also I think it's another thing of like Nintendo seems to have made it clear over the years that they're only barely tolerating this like subsection. They're like, oh, yeah, well, I guess we're supporting this scene kind of.
Yeah.
But that's not the game we're making. But if you want to play it that way, I guess we'll allow it. I guess I
It's
can't.
just more like weird stubbornness from Nintendo, who have it's just I feel like even more harshly contrasted in this game because there's so much care put into like the spirits mode, the classic mode, so much stuff that is really celebratory, and then just like this tiny little streak of just like nah, not for you.
But
guys.
that's the thing is like all the spirit stuff and like they would never probably play with spirits turned on.
Yeah,
if you're playing competitively.
Does the tournament mode still, or the tournament scene still focus on like stripping as much out as possible and playing on like? Because my understanding was back in the day, it was always like there was a specific featureless stage that they played on.
There
and,
was depending on the game,
and like items were removed and just like the purest experience possible. Is that still
like 5 or 6 stages in the rotation? Yeah, it's. I mean,
is this still how
it's
they
to
do?
remove as much randomness as you can.
Sure.
And I think that makes sense for what they're trying to accomplish. But like I think it's okay, and the sales of the series over the years, I think, have proved that like Nintendo was right to not just cater the game to that audience.
Sure.
Did you guys see it was like 1.6 million units in Japan
or
over the
something.
first weekend?
Yeah.
Boy.
So yeah, I don't know. It's the other thing I've heard is that the online is not good.
Yeah.
Like,
also just the
like
netcode
latency
is
and netcode
really
and stuff is
bad.
just
Oh,
not
no.
great. So I'm
People are wiring up their
I have not
switches
signed
now.
up to
Well, sure.
the service, but whatever. That
It's a
doesn't
bummer.
sound great.
I've run into the same thing with Pokemon Let's Go, Ben, of like the online being like super bare bones and like there's no ranking mode. So I feel like they're trying to cater the game to like the little children.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, you guys that take the game too seriously, go over there.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't seem like they quite get.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Like they've done interesting things, like the way Splatoon rotated stages. At first, you were like, "This is some backwards ass shit.
Mhm.
What are you doing?" But I think that ended up working out.
Yeah.
But I think by and large, most of the choices they make around how they build their online modes are just like, all right, you don't like you try to do something different, but you don't have to.
Yeah, the
You
community
could just do the thing that people want out of the game. That'd be fine too.
Yeah, like the community just finds a way to
Right.
keep doing their super competitive stuff anyway.
But like, are people who are very serious about that game going to want to play it online anyway and get used to the latency and the nastiness that comes along with that?
No,
and
it's
that'll
more of like
ruin their offline game in
Totally.
the process.
It's more of a tool of like, hey, I want to play against my friend who lives on the East
Yeah,
Coast,
yeah.
and we're both like serious smashers, but now
Right.
we really can't.
You're serious smashers.
I'm a serious smasher.
Are you a serious smasher?
Congratulations to Sakurai, who can now return to his hibernation chamber.
Nope,
Yeah.
they've got to
Oh,
balance
no.
that
And
game. There's
begin
DLC,
regenerating.
DLC,
They
Piranha
announced the
Plant's on the
DLC.
way.
There's no rest.
Joker.
Joker.
All right. Well, then condolences to Sakurai.
Yeah.
Who may never rest.
It's Mario time.
That's right. It's always Mario time somewhere.
New Donk City is the city that never sleeps.
So the Game Awards happened last week, which we will talk about at length in the news. But games came out
Right.
randomly. Well, not randomly. Unexpectedly. let's say.
calculatedly.
Yes.
It's like, oops, we
We
dropped
got a
this
big
game.
gotcha
Games-
machine.
These were not acts of God. Somebody planned this to happen. But
Or were they acts of the devil, Brad?
oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Supergiant put out a game. out of nowhere.
Hades.
They announced and released a game.
Yeah,
A couple other things came out that night, but
it's in early access.
Yeah.
Which is the first time they've done that.
Only on the Epic Store.
yes, we'll dig into that store in the news, but the Epic Games Store launched that night with this new Supergiant early access game.
Yeah, Hades.
How do they denote that on the store? Because I didn't see a whole lot of language around it being early access.
I mean, I think it's in the logo for the game.
Yeah.
It just says Hades early access in the logo.
It didn't seem like a lot of, because like Steam's got their sort of like front and center, like here's why we're doing early access.
We'll get into it in the news, but Steam has a lot of features and stuff that you would think that a store launching in 2018 would have already put in instead of saying, "Hey, more to come."
Yeah.
But
the game.
but I guess the Epic Games Store only has 3 games on it anyway, so what's whatever.
Sure.
Hades, it's cool.
Yeah.
I really like it. It's
got that Supergiant feel.
Yeah, and it's kind of a run-based,
roguelike-ish kind of thing.
sort of deal. Yeah,
Isometric.
Yep.
Got kind of the look and feel of Bastion, I guess you'd say, or to a degree.
Yeah.
Closer to
In
Bastion
a-
than anything
The
else.
perspective of Bastion, at least.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it does kind of have its own feel. You basically have 4 attacks. You can go in with you get to choose a weapon before you kind of go on your run. And you'll have 4 different attacks based on whatever weapon you choose. So you kind of start with the sword, and you've got just kind of default slash, and then kind of an area attack, a dash, and then like a casting kind of spell thing that uses a separate ammo. That one is pretty standard across all the weapons, and it's got a deliberate feel to it at times where you feel like you're committing to attacks, but I think if your timing is good enough, it does start to flow. It's hard not to think about Dead Cells when you think about the game, just because Dead Cells is still such a fresh release. But the thing about Dead Cells is like you are canceling out of everything and into everything and all this other stuff. And
That Cell's very loose and forgiving.
yeah,
control-wise.
This I would say is not as loose, but if you are timing your stuff right, and there are some perks along the way that you can earn that might kind of make this stuff a little bit easier or whatever, you can do that, like dash into attack, or attack into this into that. You can start to chain that stuff together.
But there's more kind of recovery time to worry about. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool because there's almost like a weightiness to the weapons.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
It feels like you're swinging this big sword, whereas Dead Cells is like you hit the button and the attack comes out.
Yeah.
It's different enough. I like you. I was coming in thinking a lot about Dead Cells because to me that's just what the example of a good roguelike looks like now.
Yeah.
But it is different enough. And like the ability to kind of knock enemies into the wall and like bounce them into the wall and combo them that way. And kind of like if you get a good combo going on an enemy, sometimes you just lock them down.
Yeah, you could really rock them. And that's pretty cool.
So something that Dark Cells are not Dark Cells. Oh my
They're
God,
making a Dark
Dead
Cells.
Cells.
Yeah, I know. That game's made me like aware of is when enemies attack you. Are you getting hit by proximity or are you getting hit by their attack? Do you know what I mean? Like, can you walk up to them and still touch
Can you
them?
touch them and not take damage?
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
Yes.
In Hades, I think you can.
I don't know.
I don't actually. Yeah, no. I
Is
think
that something
you can,
that I'm like looking for? Like,
I think it depends on the enemy, because
now,
I think like the floating skulls, the numbskulls, I think might do damage on touch, but I think some of the bigger guys do damage on attack.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Yeah, I think
just
I
curious.
remember walking around those big club guys. And
Yeah,
being
and you can
pretty
kind
freely-
of, but also the dash, you can dash through enemies
Mhm.
and kind of get them from behind.
I really
and
like how
then
the dash
backstab.
works. You just like appear at the dash location, and then the
It's
recovery is
like
at
instant
the end.
transmission.
It
yeah,
is
yes,
sort
the
of
recovery,
like-
the recovery's at the end, but even then, you can kind of interrupt that recovery with an attack if you time it right. So I think that was the thing. Like my first few runs was just like, man, this feels weirdly stiff.
Yeah.
And then as I started getting that timing down, I was like, okay, no, like that stuff's here. You just have to be good.
Yeah.
You have to be better at your timing.
I found myself shooting out of the dash a lot. Like I'll dash and then shoot to cancel out of that.
Yeah.
The upgrade system's really cool too.
Yeah, it's got permanent upgrades, so you kind of, you're losing your money between runs, at least at first. There's items that can mitigate that. But yeah, you're upgrading like, I want to regain a little bit of health for every next room I go into, or better backstab damage.
Or even I was talking about the god powers, how basically
sure,
you'll
like
find
just
like
in a run,
a
yeah.
blessing from Zeus, and so it'll be 3 kind of electricity themed things that'll either affect your attack, your shot, or your dash. and so you can kind of upgrade depending on what way you want to play. It reminds me of like the red, green, purple thing from Dead Cells, where you can kind of pick which route you want to maximize.
And some of that stuff will be even a little more different. Like the sword by default is a 3-string attack, and the third one is a slower kind of plant your feet type thing. You can eliminate that third and just get down to your basic slash, and so you do slightly less damage, but you're never not attacking. So between that and then I got like a chain lightning perk that made it so when I'm hitting people, lightning's flying out and hitting other enemies, and so never not attacking, and then and just backing enemies into walls and just really fucking their shit up.
Sounds great.
That felt pretty good. And then the whole thing's like, you're kind of trying to escape the underworld, and you're running into Achilles and
Yeah, it's
Nyx
all
and,
it's hella Greek.
yeah.
Yep.
It looks
It's got a
really,
lot of flavor.
Writing is
yeah, it looks really polished for early. Well, I mean, their stuff is always polished,
Right.
but like just the menu transitions and like animations around just the kind of fit and finish of the thing.
Yeah.
I guess I just when you say early access, I expect something that looks a little rougher than that.
They
but
seem like
it looks super nice.
They seem very aware of like some of the negatives of that early access connotation. Like they've got a counter on the main menu that's like a number of days into our next major update.
I thought it was going to be number of days since an update.
Yeah, no, it's like counting down to like the next kind of monthly update
That's cool.
or whatever.
That's
so I think
that's a good idea.
They've realized that like, hey, people want to know what's happening with a game when it's in early access.
Is there also information about like, hey, here's what's coming next?
They've got patch notes about what is in, but I don't know that they necessarily are too upfront about what's next.
It's a little bit of a bummer the controller support isn't quite there. You have to like I was finding I was unable to use like an analog stick.
Oh, weird. I had no problems with the controller.
Weird.
Yeah.
I was like trying to find my left right, but it couldn't.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have some sort of.
It's an early access.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a voice acting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. It's got a variety, kind of the super giant players are there and present and all that stuff, but it seems like a wider voice cast than some of their other games for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the writing's really clever. It's got kind of a light take on this whole underworld. It's not this
light take
grim
on hell.
dark thing. Yeah, it's kind of flip at times in a way that I appreciate.
It's like you die and you have to run by your father Hades again. He's like, you fucking died again, huh? You gonna try again?
Hey, you ate shit. I was like,
he
oh,
really does
man.
seem to take the piss quite a bit.
It's cool. It's
That's cool.
yeah.
It's cool to see them go back to just a pure like action combat game again.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I absolutely applaud them for the weird shit they've been getting up to. Like Transistor was a weird strategy game, and then Pyre just like fuck, man.
Yeah, Pyre
It's like fantasy basketball. Like, but this maybe has a little more broad appeal.
seems like it.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
It's just
But yeah, it feels good.
that's cool. Another game that randomly came. Again, not random. I don't know why I keep saying that. Calculatedly came out during the Game Awards was Ashen, which has been in
I'm
development
interested
for
in
a
this.
very long time. Like, didn't you see it like 2 E3s ago?
I did. It was
Not this year, but the last one.
my first E3 appointment ever.
I had forgotten all about
I
it.
feel like they announced it a while ago. But it's out on Xbox and PC, also the Epic Store. In fact,
Yes,
it had a Steam page.
it still does.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that Steam page has changed dramatically because I think it had all the dressing you would expect about a game that was soon to come out.
Oh yeah.
And now it's just like
TBA.
TBA.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They clearly made some deals with Epic, and
They were wheeling and dealing. Yeah.
seems like it will come to Steam
Like
later.
backstage at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
Just like,
right.
come on.
Got to edit the Steam Store page as fast as we can.
So right now it's just Epic Store.
Just
and then,
Epic Store and Xbox.
Yeah, and it's on the Game Pass.
It's on Game
as well.
Pass. Yeah,
That's
so
rad.
that's cool.
I tried
But,
a little bit of it.
Yeah, I got a couple hours into it. It's super Dark Souls. Like it plays like Dark
Yeah.
Souls. Like attacks on the
I
shoulders.
really like the idea of a game named literally
Super
Super
Dark
Dark Souls. Like the Mode 7's gonna fucking blow your mind.
I'm ready for it. It's really simplified. There are no character classes. There's only one armor slot, so like you're equipping an outfit. Like armor drops as a full set. There's no like real character builds. I mean, there are some like talismans and stuff you equip, but it is like very much like a streamlined kind of stripped down version of that.
Visually, it looks a lot like
Absolver. Yeah, it looks a lot like Absolver. It's got like a kind of a flat
minimalist
color, sort of like that. It's set in a world with no sun, Like,
Oh, that sucks.
Like light, yeah.
So it's here. It's not
Like
here.
kind of, yeah. Like light is a big deal because there's no sun, and the only natural illumination comes from this bird god that has just been rebirthed and is like soaring over the land or something.
Naturally.
Anyway, so like light has come back to the world, and it's a big deal. But how this game came off to me when I started getting into it was that the developer looked at the original pitch for Dark Souls 2 that never happened and said, like, fuck it, we're going to make that.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I don't know if you guys remember that when they were first selling Dark Souls 2, they were talking about how, like, the dungeons are going to be super dark, like, light will be a resource you have to manage, like, you can carry a torch in your offhand, but then you won't be able to carry a shield, and,
Right.
like, you can, like, light torches on the walls to give yourself, like, they made it, like, out like this is going to be a big, risky mechanic of
Yeah.
not being able to see and having to mitigate that, and then the game came out, and you remember all the graphics downgrade stuff,
Yeah.
and a lot of that stuff just wasn't there, because they probably couldn't handle it with the reduced lighting they ended up with.
Well, there's that, but also like,
And maybe
you know,
it wasn't fun. I
That,
don't know.
yeah,
That's
that,
not
that,
fun.
I can't.
that's- It seems very possible that
Yeah.
that mechanic could go awry and be like, oh, this is actually like way more light management than.
I've played those Spelunky levels. They're not great.
Yeah, yeah.
But this
You
game
ever
is.
played The Legend of Zelda 2?
I have.
You ever go into that cave before you find that candle?
Yeah,
Don't do it.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's not good.
You can.
It's not a good time.
Don't
You can
do it.
make it, but it's
you
not a
can
good
see
time.
their eyes, can't you?
Exactly.
Everybody's eyes glow.
Yeah.
This game is kind of that though, because I'm not super deep in. I've gotten through one major dungeon, and there's a bunch of little like caves off to the side, but all of them are like almost pitch black. You can barely see in there.
Oh, wow.
But you get a lantern early on that looks super nice, like it's really nice dynamic lighting. But it is totally that. It's like you're carrying the lantern in your offhand, and that means you can't use a two-handed weapon or hold a shield. But you can set the lantern down and have kind of a stationary light source,
Huh.
and then you can switch to that
Oh,
stuff.
Cool. Okay.
But then if you have to back away, it starts getting dark again. It's a
Yeah.
cool mechanic.
All
And
the
it
trailers.
looks really nice.
All the trailers that I've seen have mentioned some sort of like co-op as well.
Yeah, I'm not super clear how that stuff works because
Okay.
there's an AI companion.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
weird because the AI companion is there at the very start of the game, the second you like set out,
Yeah.
and they fucking run up and kill the first enemy you see faster than you can even like get your bearings. Like
Okay.
they got no chill whatsoever.
I've
Like,
heard the AI makes the game quite a bit easier.
although I've heard that like somebody was saying that it gets hard enough later on that you would kind of not want to be alone.
Huh.
Like there's so many enemies later on that
I'm sure.
you kind of would get screwed by yourself.
I just want them to be a portable light source for me.
They do that. They
Okay.
absolutely totally will do that.
Cool.
But they're too erratic to depend on. That's kind of
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean when I say that it's weird because like sometimes the dude is there, sometimes he's not. Sometimes his health bar disappears, which I assume means he's no longer with me, and then he'll just pop back up randomly. Sometimes he gets himself killed.
But then there is
But there is multiplayer.
Online
But so that's
co-op.
I was gonna
that's
say,
why
like,
it's
is-
extra confusing. Is I turned off the AI companion, but
Yeah.
left the multiplayer stuff on, and then the same AI companion showed up later,
Is it a
which
real
I
person?
assume was a real person at that
Some-
point. But it's
some
a
journey-esque
but it's
stuff,
a named
Yeah.
story character that's rolling with you.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say,
So-
I thought that the multiplayer in this was kind of a journey thing.
It is.
That is my understanding. But again, like I was like, I thought I'd turn that dude off, and here he is again. But then somebody was saying like when other real players are in your game, they are disguised
yeah,
as
right.
story characters. Which is weird.
This was the pitch at E3. I'm not sure if it's in the final game, but they were saying that if you complete like a dungeon or kill a boss with that AI companion, like an online AI companion, they will join your town and like open up shop and
Huh.
become like a permanent resident in your like hub zone.
So there's definitely a town building aspect to this that is super cool, but they don't really explain any of that stuff, so that may be happening and I didn't know it, but yeah, the starting area, you've got like one dude who's helping you, and then after you go do a couple. Also, this game has quests. Like it's got full on like quest markers and objectives and a quest log, which is totally not the norm for a Dark Souls type game. But yeah, every time you do something that advances the story and you come back to that area, they have like carved more out of this mountain to look like a big structure. Like they're totally building a town as the story goes. It's really cool. And yeah, there are a bunch of just like unnamed like townspeople sitting around. So those may be players that I've
put them to work.
come into contact with or something. The town stuff doesn't seem like it changes anything. I mean, you get new vendors, like new crafting tables open up as you go, but like, you don't need a big.
Do you know what you're crafting?
You don't need a big.
weapons or
Yeah,
armor
like
or-
you can repair weapons. You can create new talismans that give you different effects and stuff.
Okay.
Like the town building stuff is just kind of like set dressing on a very standard character upgrade system, but it
Alright.
still looks cool. Like it just feels like you're doing stuff,
I love the air of mystery around these kinds of games when they first come out,
Yeah.
where it's just kind of this period of like nobody's quite sure what to do because the game's hard enough that nobody's just like people aren't breezing through it, and it's confusing enough that nobody's sure if it's part of the game.
Like,
or not.
yeah, on one level, it's kind of cool that this dude is following me around, and I don't know if it's AI or a real player or not, even though it's all a little bit confusing. But
Well, that sounds like a fresh take. That's cool.
it's
Yeah,
cool. It's
like,
got enough different stuff
Yeah.
going on from a Dark Souls. Like
that's what I was worried about because
Yeah.
I started playing it probably about a half hour to an hour, and I'm like, yeah, it sure is Dark Souls.
Yeah,
And
it's got its own
I put
thing.
it down.
Yeah,
I put it down.
It's
So
got its own thing going on.
Cool.
For sure. And it's only $40, so it's like not the highest budget game, but there's some like big sort of set piece type. I don't know. It's fun to see that stuff for yourself. So I won't say what it is, but like just in terms of like animation and scale and some of the big flashy stuff they went for, like for a game that was probably made by a relatively small team, like they're doing some stuff.
Right.
It's cool.
Did you play it on PC or Xbox?
I'm on the Xbox.
Okay. Cool.
Do
you have Game Pass or?
No, I should probably look into that.
It's been worth it.
Yeah,
for
like
me, for sure.
so.
It's cool. Like this game just gets announced and hey, it's on.
Yeah, I don't know if
Game
they had
Pass, go
announced
for it.
this was going to be on Game Pass before it came out or
I
not.
don't know.
But this and Mutant Year Zero, which
Yep.
which I have not
Ooh.
played, but which people are raving about,
Yep.
is also a Game Pass game. Like they're just like dropping new games left and right on that thing. They seem to really be going for it.
Yeah, and it's great because these games are like I don't know if I would immediately jump into, so it's nice to have that option.
Yeah.
Where you can just try it out.
Yeah.
Do you need gold if you want Game Pass?
I'm pretty sure they are separate,
Okay.
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Makes
Great.
sense.
But you would need gold to play multiplayer
Sure.
in Game Pass games. Yeah, that game's neat though. What else? Anybody got anything else? I feel like there was something else.
From the Game Awards?
Yeah, or just in general. Games have been coming
In
out.
general, yeah, I do have something.
Yeah.
So I got here's my deep dark secret. I got my PlayStation VR
Oh yes.
for
Okay.
for Gungrave.
I know where this. Yes, that
Oh,
was the
yeah.
game. That's the game. Is that a
Gungrave-
new game or is that
Yeah.
original Gungrave in VR?
It's a brand new game.
Okay, because the idea of playing a PS2 game in VR sounds like weirdly appealing.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool. Anyway, I played a bit of Gungrave back at E3, and I actually enjoyed my time with it. You know, it was a nice like third person shooter, all kinds of anime trappings and stuff, over the top stylish action, my kind of shit. I'm like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to play this whole game, and I got it now, and I played the whole game. And man, it's not going to take long to play through that game because it's very, very short. Don't be misled by the cover that says, "Hey, you get 2 games in one. It's Gungrave VR 1 and Gungrave VR 2." Because that the first game is like 5 chapters. Second game is like 3 chapters, and it's got the same menu loadout and everything. Anyway, let me back up. Third person action game. Left stick moves your character around, right? All right. Your head moves the targeting reticle. The right stick turns the camera, and it does it in steps. So it's very disorienting, and it sucks super bad.
That's the VR thing.
But yeah, it's wave based enemies, and it's the same enemies all throughout the game from what I've played so far. And it's extremely bare bones, and it doesn't change much as far as the enemies are concerned. Your perspective changes though, which is kind of strange because you go from third person to first person sometimes, and then to a weird side scrolling 2D version of
In
it as
VR?
well. It's not pretty. So you're just moving your head like left or right depending on where you want your character to face.
I can't tell if you like this game or not.
I fucking hate it.
Oh, okay.
I am.
All right.
Yeah, I am not a fan.
Okay.
So what I liked, like I said, at E3 was kind of the stylish stuff, and that's prevalent.
Is
in
the
the
game
final
where you're
one,
like
but
carrying a coffin around on
Yeah,
your shoulder
dude.
all the time? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
no coffin in this one. It's
How's the draw distance?
yeah.
Yeah, this is a coffee game.
Well, you're
No
in
coffin in this one,
enclosed
man.
you're in enclosed areas for the most part. There's a couple where you're outside, but you're in like city corridors and stuff, so you can't really see too far. But yeah, it was a big disappointment for me. I thought I was gonna really like this.
Is this full price? Do you know?
I don't know.
It's fine. I should
Yeah,
find
you
out.
can go ahead and find out. But
Is this based off something?
yeah, the Gungrave
it
anime
anime? Oh.
slash I don't know what came first, the anime or the games. There were some PS2 games.
I remember when. Well, maybe it was just I don't
wanna
know
say
how it
they-
got released in Japan, but I feel like when those were coming out originally back on PS2, I remember
Some
it.
of them came with a
Like
DVD.
I feel like the knowledge was this is based on an anime.
that I think
So
that's
I
right.
want to say that came first, but,
I'm not
I guess
positive.
I don't know for sure.
That appears to be the case.
Gungrave.
Yeah, you playing EDF? That came out.
Oh,
Just
Gungrave.
Did it?
Gungrave.
Yeah,
Gungrave
EDF
is
5, I think, came out
$30
like today.
I should probably go home right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn it. No, I didn't play any of it. How much was it, Brent?
Gungrave is $30.
$30?
Yeah.
No.
No, still not feeling it.
Still not feeling it. Yeah, you can burn through it real quick, but the action gets old real quick, and those 2D sequences are just mind-numbingly bad. It's a real shame, real shame, because it's not like I like me some stylish action.
No one says you didn't.
Okay,
No one is out there.
Don't ever think that I
would never.
stylish.
I would
Thank you.
Never do that.
Never
to you.
doubt
Thank you, but
Yeah.
don't give it to me like this, man.
I mean, it doesn't even have a coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What can you say?
He's
You know
just
what
got-
also doesn't have a coffin?
What's that?
Exapunks.
Oh, did you play some?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I almost picked this up too.
I might not be the guy for Exapunks, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like did we talk about it on this show last week?
I'm
I'm trying to think where that
did
came
we?
up.
Okay. Okay.
There's been a lot of different podcasts over the
Yes.
last couple weeks here. Yeah, no, this is the closest a Zachtronics game is going to get to something that is like up my alley. I
Yeah.
think is
So
like
are
this
they
kinda,
are they the Shenzhen IO
Yeah.
people? Okay.
and
Yes.
so I wrote a bunch of code. I read PDFs, designed to look like hacker zines.
Did you
And-
print them out?
No, I don't have a working
Oh,
printer
jeez.
because it's 2018.
You're missing some,
Yeah.
you're missing some of the
It's
experience.
2018.
Sure.
Use the office
Yeah,
printer.
yeah. I don't know how to use the Office printer. That's why I ask you to print things for me. And yeah, it's that you are writing code to solve problems. I made it deliver pizza to me in game anyway. But like the initial setup is that you've got some kind of virus that is turning your body into a computer, which is actually a bad thing.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Oh, that sucks.
And you need medicine that costs $700 a day to stave it off. But you don't have that kind of money.
It's a lot of
Or health
ATMs.
insurance.
Yeah, so you have to turn to hacking. You have to get back into hacking. Like it's alluded to that you got out the life, but then an AI shows up on your computer and says, "I'm going to get you this medicine."
Is it Clippy?
It might as well be. It's a lady. It's a ghostly lady's face, and says like, "You're going to hack." And then there's a knock at the door, and an old hacker friend shows up with his new zine and says, "I don't know. I just thought you might need this." And then the AI's like, "Cool, right? I made that." And so the first issue of this zine is literally like. The first 3 are just tutorials about like, hey, here's basics of how to code these things about like, hey, here's how you're going to make pizza be delivered to your house. And here's how you're going to manipulate a file to copy a thing out of it and move it over. And you're just kind of learning the basics of working in this file system. And then like page 8 of the zine is just like, here's what appears to be every command that is in this programming language. And then, it just kind of presents you with the next problem and says like, all right, go. And I was able to solve that one, and then it unlocks the next one. Like basically, what it starts doing is because your body is turning into a computer, you can hack your body to save it. So you get kind of. It seems like where I got to is you start getting missions in parallel that are like these are the ones you're hacking to hack for, but also like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if your left arm was better? And that doesn't
Sure.
seem like it necessarily will have a gameplay impact, but it's like your left arm is turning into a computer. You should probably hack it. To fix it or to actually stave it off for real in a way that the medicine only kind of delays.
Huh.
And that's where I got stuck is trying to write code that would basically clamp the limits of a range of numbers that are sent from the nerve to the muscle. So like the numbers, the impulses, the numbers coming in from the nerve can be all over the place, but they need to be between, I think it's 50 and negative 120. And so you have to write a program that if the number is outside that, if the number is inside that range, it passes it along untouched. If the number is outside that range, it clamps it to either 50 or negative 120 and passes that along. And that's the one I got stuck on because like it expects it in a certain timing that I just can't get right. Like I had to write basically two programs, like one. But so you're okay.
You pass the output of one program into the next one.
Yes,
Man,
exactly.
cool.
So, and that's all visualized by these little robots. So you have each file system is there to be files that show up in rooms, and each room is technically a different part of the file system. So you have to traverse the rooms, which is navigating the file system, and you have to, have the robot pick up the file, read from the file. You can erase the file, you can drop the file in a different area if that's what you need to do, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. And the robots can talk to each other. So you put this is how I'm trying to solve the problem.
Is that visualized? Are they visualized with cool little speech bubbles and stuff?
No. Yes, actually, you will see numbers kind of pop up over their heads as they're reading and dealing with files. And you'll see you'll see it get beamed from one robot to the next as it's transferring.
It's a nice representation.
Yeah. So I have to put one robot at the nerve and one robot at the muscle, and then I'm trying to get it. Okay, read the nerve. Is this number in range? If yes, send to other robot, who then copies it to the muscle file store, and so on. But some part of it is out of whack, and it's just taking too long. Because every time you read the nerve number increments to whatever the next one's going to be. And so I'm trying to copy that number out, but every time I run, as I'm running these cycles of code on this robot, the number is changing and changing and changing.
Mm-hmm.
So my input-output isn't lining up. My output isn't coming back for like 4 cycles too late.
Yep.
And I don't know how to tighten up the code to get it to be in line.
Sounds like you've got a buffer overflow.
Yeah, so I might not ever play it ever again. I don't know. It's fucking hard because I'm looking at it and going like, this is how I would solve this problem. And the instructions seem to say that the robot will wait for the other robot to be ready to receive before it sends. So to solve these kind of timing issues, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. But I like, there's a part of me that wants to just stare at it for a fucking 100 hours and get it right. And a part of me that wants to uninstall it and never play it ever again. And just say like, this is awesome from a distance. And I played further than someone on my friends list did. And saw where they dropped off on the leaderboard. So I'm just better than that guy.
How deep in is this? Like how many?
This is like the 5th thing you do. And the first 3 are tutorials. So it
sounds like one of them ID10T problems.
Yeah, right? Am I right?
Sounds like you want a robot body.
Yeah.
How soon before you can hack out my diabetes?
Oh, that's pretty much, I can take care of that.
That was on the first page of the PDF?
Yeah, I think there's a second PDF that probably just gets into that.
A supplemental. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, hack pizza, hack an ATM.
Nice.
And then glucose is pretty much just right there on the list. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Again, I don't remember which podcast this got said on, but didn't Vinny say that the code is sort of basic like?
Yeah,
it
is. Mm-hmm. But I want it to be.
Is it its own thing though? Do you have to
is.
like learn its syntax before you can do anything?
Yeah. So it's like to move a robot to move your program from one area to the next. You type link and then a number, and then all the things are all the gates from one file system to another are numbered. So you say link 800, and that'll move it through the 800 gate.
Okay. And
then link 800 again, which just happens to be the next one forward because the one back is -1. Like and so they've written their if-then stuff in a way that I wish was more like actual basic of the 80s, where like you basically you are reading a number, and then you have to run a set of commands that test the number, and then if the test passes, then there's another register that says 1. If the test fails, that register T says 0. Whereas I wanted to be able to write, if this is that, then do this.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's what I assumed it would do.
No, instead it's like you're saying, is this that? And then you're saying, hey, test to see if this is that. And then by running the test, it says a 0 or a 1 in the other thing. Then you have to query that register to say,
I see.
Is that a 0 or is it a 1?
Did it pass or not? Then do this. Yeah.
Then you write a series of loops based on, okay, jump to this section if the test passes. If the test fails, just continue on. And those are how the basics of the statements are written. And
sounds very modular.
It is, yeah.
Or excuse me, object oriented.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess maybe that's probably a more modern than I'm used to because I'm like I said, I'm like Atari 400. If X equals 4, then go to 400.
Sure.
Or go sub if I want it to come back. And so that's the part that's I don't know. It's fucking awesome though.
It sounds super cool. I have to take a look at that thing.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's the closest. Yeah, it's closest that one of those Zachtronics games has come to getting me because of like the subject matter and how they're approaching it and stuff. yeah, like like I said, it got in my head. Like I went to bed that night just going like, all right, well,
Oh, really?
what are ways I could like rewrite this code to try to and I couldn't come up with anything. That was the part where it kind of fell apart. Is just like I had zero ideas.
Oh.
It was like I wrote the code and I was like, this seems like the one way I know how to solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't solve it, and I'm like, fuck.
And you didn't like wake up the next morning going, aha!
No, I did not wake up with like a new
No
thing to
aha
try.
moments.
All I can do is really go back in there and try to just erase everything and rewrite from scratch
Right.
and see if like there's some way to tighten it up.
Tighten up the graphics.
Tighten it up.
You do
I
have
don't
one
know.
other option.
What's that?
You could just let yourself become a computer.
Yeah, that's probably a better.
Think about it. You wouldn't have to go online to order pizza. You could just
But-
think it.
It won't be so bad.
I could think pizza and I wouldn't need to eat it because I'm just a computer.
Well, I
I
mean,
like
you could
to
think
eat
it
it.
and then it would come to your door and you'd still eat it.
Yeah,
You could
I,
put
I
pizza
think
in
the
the
specifics of the phage is that you are not turning into a usable computer.
Oh no!
You are turning into a nightmare of circuitry that doesn't actually do
So
anything.
you'll just be a dumb terminal.
Something like
Okay,
that.
got it.
Yeah.
Is there like a spatial or physical element to dealing with the robots? Like, do you have to physically move them around?
That's where the link command of
Yeah.
like link 800 will move them
but
forward.
What I
or
mean is
back
like,
or-
is it just abstracted out to just like the number being just an address that you are sending things
Totally,
to, or you
yeah.
don't have to like physically navigate the
no,
robots
no, no.
around?
It's not
to-
like it's not like logo. You're
Okay.
not making the turtle move.
Okay.
Or anything like that.
Huh.
It's just that everything is numbered. So you say
see.
go here, and
I
then
see.
it moves into that room. And if
Okay.
it's in the same room as a file, you can then pick up the file and read from the file, or delete the file, or
Okay.
add things to the file, and then set it back down, and go that way with
Okay.
it. Yeah,
I have to take a look at this. This sounds
it's cool.
fascinating.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really really cool.
That's cool. The last thing I remembered is I played a little bit of Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which is the first new Monster
Yeah.
Boy game in what 30 years?
Something like that,
Monster
yeah.
Boy.
Monster Boy was it Master System only? It started, I believe. So I'm super unclear on the lineage
This
of
is
this thing.
all back to the lineage of like Hudson's Adventure Island
Yes.
and the spin-offs of that,
And
and
it-
then Wonder Boy and
Yes.
Monster World.
So it doesn't
and-
help it basically has two names. Like I never know if it's Wonder Boy or Monster Boy. Are those
Yeah.
interchangeable? Are those different
It's
games?
not a lineage I ever like read up.
Yeah.
Like,
All
totally
Wonder
on.
Boys are monsters, but not all Monster Boys are wonders.
Like it's
Yeah.
like just as a modern example, like that remake came out, was it last year?
Yeah, or a year
Wonder
before.
Boy the Dragon's Trap, which
Yeah.
is like a literal remake of a Master System game. That's Wonder Boy. This is Monster Boy, but people treat them as if they're basically the same franchise.
Yeah,
It's
so then you
super
turn
confusing.
into a monster in Wonder
Yes,
Boy.
yes.
Yeah, it's. So I think that was the thing. Is at some point it got into the monster stuff far enough that they were just like,
Oh, they just kind of spun it off.
I don't know that.
So what's the game? What do you
It's
do?
a platformer. It is it's an action platformer. In this case, the new one, I don't know. I never played the old ones. I don't know how deep they went into this, but the new one is basically a Metroidvania. It's got a Metroidvania map. It's a little more RPG because there are like armor sets, and like you get a set bonus for completing a full set and stuff like that. I'm like less than an hour into it. I just fired it up. I'm gonna play a bunch more of it before we do a video.
It's so colorful.
It is so charming. Like I had expected kind of nothing from this. Also, it was developed in France. Like the Japanese creator of Monster Boy was a designer on it.
Yeah.
But the publisher.
Are these people that worked on
Who's the
that
studio?
remake?
It's
Because
game-
that
it's-
also came.
I'm trying to find that right now. I don't think so because it's Game Atelier, I believe, is the developer.
yeah.
France going hard on remaking.
Yeah,
Sega games.
Totally. Because it was .emu and Lizard Cube, right?
Yeah.
That did Wonder Boy last year. I think this is different. I think these are different European companies
Great.
putting out this
Impossible.
new one.
That-
It has
That
got.
studio sounds familiar.
Yeah,
it
I had heard
does.
the name before, although I wasn't familiar with their stuff much. But
I want to say they're doing a first-person, anime-inspired first-person, but also 2D shooter. It's
That's the That's Away. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Is that them? I don't know if that's them or not, but
Really?
I'm aware of the game that I think you're
Okay.
talking about.
I can try to look that up. But this game, like the second you boot it up, this game has got the cheesiest fucking anime intro I have ever seen, maybe in a game. Like it is incredible how earnestly ridiculous it is.
Is it like deliberately trying to look like a VHS tape? or
No,
like some-
not like
okay,
that. But
okay.
it's more just like it's just this like real upbeat rockin' anime sounding theme with some totally ridiculous lyrics
all right.
where they just sing the line "Monster Boy" repeatedly.
All right.
That sounds okay.
It really needs to be seen to be believed.
All
But,
right.
yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like a modern day Master System game. I'm not really sure how to back that up, but it feels like that. Like it just has that kind of vibe to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that was the thing when we looked at that remake when they came by with that and Windjammers back it's a while ago now. Was realizing just how deep that game was in terms of like, oh, you're going to put on these different monster, you're going to turn to these different monsters that have different abilities, and like it almost kind of had that Metroidvania type thing to it. Yeah. Which I don't think I realized, like, because I was just not familiar with the original game.
I never got into those games either. Yeah, I've only got one animal form so far, but I'm a pig with an eye patch.
All right.
And I can.
Are you running a shop? That seemed like something a pig with an eye patch would do.
No, but the first shop I got, or if I found, was being manned by a giant rhinoceros.
Great.
And it was called Rhino Mart.
Great.
Like the shops look like the shops in that Wonder Boy remake.
Yeah.
Like they totally are going for that. And like the music, it just all feels like a super 80s, but not an NES game, like a Master System game.
Yeah.
It's weird. And the art is super expressive. Like it reminds me of that most recent Shantae game.
Yeah.
Like super crisp and colorful and just like tons of personality to it. We will do a quick look with that thing.
Great.
It impressed me a lot more than I was expecting. It seems really good, and it reviewed really well too. So it sounds like it holds up. But yeah, man, games coming out.
I've been playing some more Just Cause 4
Okay.
also.
Yeah.
And
But it doesn't seem to be setting the world ablaze.
it kind of sucks.
Ah.
I don't know. Like it kind of
Which version are you
Like
playing?
in a way that
PC.
3 kind of
Okay.
sucked, or
Sounds
in a
like-
different way?
Sounds like
it feels like they're doubling down on some of the bland stuff from 3.
it sounds like PC's got its own separate issues.
Yeah, maybe a little
On
bit.
top of, I haven't seen it.
I have people have a litany of complaints about the PC version specifically.
I've seen a lot of
Performance.
I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
forum posts of people going like, it looks like this and yet it runs like shit, like basically saying it doesn't look good to begin with
Yeah.
and the performance is bad.
It's yeah. Parts of it are not outstanding. It's
That balloon stuff sounds so cool.
yeah.
though.
So that's kind of the thing is the tether system and the things they've done there like are really interesting, but maybe not in a video game. Like it doesn't necessarily feel like they're writing the video game missions to be great at taking advantage of those things, I guess. Or a situation where like, oh yeah, you can kind of use all your tethers and tether abilities and stuff to solve these missions in weird ways, or you can just shoot these 4 guys with your gun and get moving. Like it's not worth it to take all this time. Or like, hey, it'd be really fun to fuck around. So here's what I did. It's really fun to fuck around in that world with the tethers, because you will unlock balloons, and you can unlock mods for these things to say like, oh, do I want these balloons to be high force or low force? What do I want? Or like booster grenades is another thing where they attach to a thing, and then you hit a button to trigger them, and suddenly they have thrusters. So you can attach it to a guy and make him fly up in the air. Fuck him. He's dead. And then you can set it to be like, okay, well, what do I want to have happen? Do I want these boosters to last 10 seconds to 30 seconds? Do I want them to peter out at the end or explode? And so you have these mod tools, but there's a whole mission tree you have to do to unlock all those mods, which is a pain in the ass because the missions are not much fun. And then there's the main missions of like, oh, we're taking over the world, and you're kind of taking back territory and expanding squads out to control more land with your army of chaos.
I think that's all new, right?
Yeah,
like
that is
you
new
would
stuff.
you would kind of like liberate territories
yeah.
in the past, but this sounds
But
a
this
little
is
more
like,
active.
oh, you earn 2 squads, and now you can liberate this territory and push the front line further ahead.
Do you actually
and,
do anything with them, or is that just a different way
No,
to
it
describe
just
this?
means you see fighting in that region.
Okay.
Because your troops are there.
just,
Kind of.
just a different way to change
Yeah,
change the color of the map.
Exactly.
Okay.
So far, it's been pretty light
Okay.
in that department. I maybe spent like 5 hours with it, so I'm not.
Oh, I wonder if that's the thing they came up with to replace just the sort of raw chaos currency.
I mean, it's literally called the Army of Chaos.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, you
'Cause
are
it-
filling a chaos meter to earn squads for your
Okay.
Army of
Okay,
Chaos.
that
It's
just sounds
totally,
like a different
yes,
way to
it is-
track
it
that
is
exact same
absolutely
thing.
that.
Oh man.
But the tethers and those things are really fun because then you're like, man, this is just a llama here. I'm going to attach a booster to this llama and make it fly away. And so you can kind of set up like, oh, I want to, they give you kind of different triggers. So if you have it so automatically I want the balloon to inflate and take off, but I want the balloon to really get going when I hold up on the D-pad. You can set it that. So it'll just kind of hover there, and then you're like, oh, whatever, I want you gone. Hold up on the D-pad, it flies away until you let off, and then it'll stop again.
Huh.
And there's another motion for tapping up on the D-pad. So that'd be like I want to activate the boosters when I tap up, or I want to, inflate the balloons and have them stay inflated by tapping up instead of just holding. Or
It almost sounds like you need like a flow chart to track all the balloon shit.
kind of,
that
yeah.
You're planning out.
And then that's you building a loadout, and then you can push left and right on the D-pad at any point to swap between your 3 tether
Oh,
loadouts.
cool.
So if you're like, okay, I'm in like mode where I want to destroy a bunch of stuff. So this
get
is
them
my,
as far away as
yeah,
possible. This is
this
the
is
blow
my fuck
everything
shit
up
up tethers. This is
Yeah.
my fun time tethers. You can kind of do that, and it's like as a system bolted into a full game. Like it works for that specific purpose. It feels like a mod. It feels like they like had this mission-based open world shooter, and then someone modded this fucked up tether system into it
After they made all the missions.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of clunky and it's not as like full featured as it seems like it probably should be.
It seems really tough because, like, obviously this is a game that needs to have missions. It needs to have a story,
right?
And that stuff's never the most interesting part about
No.
Just Cause. So you almost hope they would like see why, people got really excited about Just Cause 2 online because it was a huge sandbox to fuck around with
Right.
this crazy physics engines, and you would hope that they had kind of learned that
but
lesson.
like now it's a sandbox with all of these tools at your disposal, but everything is shooting at you in a way
Yeah.
that makes it a hassle
just
to
like
work
lean
with.
more into the Gary's
Yeah.
mod aspect of it, and just like have that core story or whatever for people who want to do it, but then also just be like, hey, here's where you can build a map, or like here's where you can have the fun zone.
Even if it was just, and so this is what I did, even if you were just invincible,
yeah,
it would make the game way more entertaining. So there's a cheat engine table for, hey, don't die, and hey, have unlimited ammo, which I didn't actually need because I wasn't really shooting any of the guns.
because I assume you were just trying to set up these really extravagant,
yeah, exactly.
cool
Like
things.
I want
and
to
then
tether
getting
this to
shot.
this to this to this to this, but like all of those things are shooting at me as I'm doing it.
Yeah,
and so it just it sucks.
I think that I remember that being a problem in 3 too.
yeah.
Like you have all these tools at your disposal, but like you want to use them to great effect. But like in practice, you're just like, well, I'm just gonna attach one balloon to this guy and make him fly away to get him the fuck out of here, or I'm just gonna shoot him.
What about
be done with
the tornado stuff?
I haven't seen any. Like there's the intro cutscene is like you not being able to kill the bad guy because he made a tornado.
Okay.
And then that's all that there's been so far.
I heard he's a big fan of weather.
Yeah, he loves it. Big weather guy.
Al Roker.
But there's issues with the cheat engine script where like some damages you so thoroughly that, but you don't actually die, so the game gets stuck in like a red screen, like pulled back. It's not built to do this. But they should build the game to do this because like they should just put in toggles for just like fuck it, man. Like, hey, we know these escort missions have tight timers and all this other stuff, but like, what if you just had fun with this?
Just like
weird
have a
video
mode
game?
called Sandbox mode where you're invincible.
It just seems
and-
weird that they don't have that because that's like the game just isn't good enough to be worth it. Like the only thing that I think is really cool about it is the balloons and the boosters and the tethers, and like having to play an open world game where all these tanks keep showing up and shooting at you because you blew up a tank in the middle of trying to make it fly away. It's just getting away from it drags it back down to earth and grounds it as like, I guess you're just fighting these cops forever.
Sounds like it just has kind of an identity crisis.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's a shame.
Just Cause 2 didn't get like great until they made weird mods for it.
Mhm.
So, this seems like it's one or two mods away from being something that would be really fun to fuck around with. But as it stands, it's like you see the hints of it, but then it's like here's this kind of middling mission-based shooter open world thing
It's a shame.
that
man.
that kind of wore it wore out its welcome a little bit. I think last time around, like the same type deal with the wingsuit to parachute to grapple. So, that whole thing is still there. It's still intact. It's fine.
Stunt position ain't what it used to be.
No, it's not. It's really not.
A lot of time has passed.
But I think that someone had some cool ideas along the way. But yeah, also like the PC version's just kind of bizarre in some ways, where it's just like, why is the image quality is really rough, and on top of that, like the pre-rendered cutscenes look like really low-res YouTube videos at times and stuff. It's like, do you want to keep the file size down? Like, it's still not a small download. I don't.
That's a bummer.
It's weird.
That's so disappointing because like you wanted to think 3 was like they're transitioning to a different studio, like they didn't quite nail it, but now they have a chance to like figure out where this series is actually going. But it sounds like they just kind of made another one with like one new thing.
They posted an update to Steam, kind of talking about like the future of the game a little bit, and they opened it with, "Hey, we're just a small team out here in New York, working on this game." And I was like, like this is the 4th Just Cause game,
from a
published by Square Enix,
fairly major publisher,
from a publisher that is across 2 large studios now. Like I don't doubt that it is probably a smallish team or something like that. I didn't go look at the credits or whatever. Like I'm not saying I don't believe them, but I don't think you get to that's not a heartstring I think they can tug on in this case because this is an established franchise that has been better before. And
I feel for the developers doing the work in that situation.
Like,
it sucks to not be funded properly or to kind of
or whatever it was. But it just is a weird way to open, like, hey, here's what we're working on, bear with us.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait, this this shipped in December. Did it need to ship in December? Like, could you have taken the time to really nail it? It's just that stuff's weird. I don't know.
The fault lies with the publisher and all that stuff. Like they're the ones they're the ones making those calls.
Yeah. So
yet another weird decision by Square Enix.
That's right.
Yeah.
They've had a messy year.
That seems concerning for the future of that franchise.
Yeah,
If
it's hard for me to imagine a Just Cause 5 existing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Maybe there doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Let Rico rest.
That's right. He'll be there when you need him.
I'll still give that thing a try because I have to. But that sounds underwhelming.
Maybe I'll just play Just Cause 2 again.
That's also an option.
Like you see the hints of like some really cool ideas here that you just like, oh, okay.
It sounds like if they had just built a full game around the cool ideas they had, then as opposed to shoving these cool ideas off to the side,
or shoving them into an established game that was already like, hey, here's how you like go on this mission,
make
kill
a new game
this.
called The Weather Master.
Yeah.
Give them all that shit.
All right, well, good to know. Okay, games, December games. There were a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break and then come back and talk about the Game Awards.
Let's turn our dreams into reality, shall we? How are we going to do it, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked, because otherwise I wouldn't have much else to talk about here. It's Squarespace. Squarespace is making it easier than ever to launch your passion project. Whatever you want to put on the web. You got a new business? You got some work you want to showcase? Trying to sell some products, publish some content? Whatever you're doing on the internet, Squarespace is the tool for you. Squarespace has beautiful templates created by world-class designers and the ability to customize just about anything with only a few clicks. You can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself. Squarespace also has powerful e-commerce functionality. That's right, you can sell stuff on the internet. And they've got analytics that'll help you grow your site in real time. Watch the graphs go up and down, all that sort of stuff. Everything's optimized for mobile right out of the box, and there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. Buying domains is simple, and you'll get the help you need with Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support. Squarespace empowers millions of people. Designers, lawyers, artists, restaurants, gyms, everything. All of them are turning great ideas into something real. Head over to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast, offer code BOMBCAST.
This week in news, as mentioned, the Game Awards happened and a bunch of stuff came out of it. Let's talk about it all.
Let's.
Gaming's cool now, I heard.
Yeah, finally.
Breaking news.
I no longer have shame. That's not true.
We go back to every X and see like, actually, you fucked up.
To my mind, the launch of the Epic Game Store is easily the biggest thing.
That's a big
Yeah.
deal.
And the details around it. I mean, we talked about Hades. That is out exclusively. Ashen also, for the moment, is exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
They launched the store. Ashen, Hades, and Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek are the only games currently available. In addition to the Epic stuff, but I guess that's
Shadow Complex and Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite tournament.
I guess Fortnite is free, so that's kind of still just
Shadow Complex is not.
No, that's true.
It was at one point. But
Yes.
Yeah.
They have announced that in the very near future, Darksiders 3, Subnautica, and Super Meat Boy will be coming to the store. Here are the other games that are currently confirmed to be coming. Genesis Alpha 1 from Team 17. Journey. Also, Journey's coming to PC.
Yeah.
That game company,
Pretty cool.
Oh, right.
Also, I didn't realize Annapurna is involved with the PC release of that.
That checks out.
Yes,
That seems like
very much the
seems
type
like a
of
very
game.
Annapurna kind of game.
Extremely. I guess, I don't think they ever came out and flat out said like Sony had like permanent exclusivity on it or
Yeah.
anything. I did not expect to ever see that game on the PC though. That's cool. Maneater from Tripwire Interactive, Outer Wilds from Mobius Digital, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw,
Cool.
Satisfactory from Coffee Stain Studios.
It's a good name. Don't know anything about the game.
How do I know when it's satisfactory?
You'll know.
Super Meat Boy Forever from Team Meat. The Pathless from Giant Squid. That's the new game from the developers of Abzu. And World War Z from Saber Interactive. Those are the games that are currently confirmed.
And Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is they put out like a Q&A saying like, hey, yes, we are exclusive to this store for some chunk of time.
Oh,
okay.
And people going like, hey, what's up with that? Like kind of trying to head off some of the potential criticisms of that. And they wrote a thing kind of saying like, yeah, no, it's a good business thing for us right now.
It's a money
to do
thing.
this. It's
It's a good money thing.
Yeah, I guess it's worth pointing out Hades is exclusive until they come out of early access.
Yeah.
Like I saw Greg Kasavin say in an interview, like, yeah, it'll probably come to Steam after we're out of early access, but that's a year and a half?
Yeah,
I think?
probably. Who
It's a
knows?
ways off.
It'll be a ways off.
And is Rebel Galaxy Outlaw the new one?
Yeah.
What's the super cool looking one that is not?
Yeah, I think
Man,
that's the new
shit,
one, yeah.
that's a big get. That game looks fucking awesome.
And they need those exclusive bangers.
Yeah,
because otherwise,
for sure.
where do they stand? You know,
They this is kind of cool. I mean, it's it's very obviously just a play to build user base, but they will be giving away a free game every 2 weeks for the next year. So starting on the 14th, which I believe is Friday,
That sounds right.
you can get Super Meat Boy. Anyone?
Sure.
Super Meat Boy or Super Meat Boy Forever?
Just regular Meat
Okay.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
good.
sorry, I've got it backwards.
Oh.
Subnautica is first.
Okay.
You
That
can get
game's good,
Subnautica for PC. 2 weeks later, on the 28th, you can get Super Meat Boy.
Are these yours to keep forever?
I believe that is the case.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just sign into the launcher and click claim.
Sweet.
I
I'll
think,
be there for Fortnite anyway.
I think they've said they will cover kind of lost revenue with the developers for
Right.
those games for those 2 weeks. So yeah, it's not a bad way to build a little bit of a library on there.
I mean, they already, and build a user base for them from a business perspective. Like this is, right in line with the time when they gave away Shadow Complex on their launcher to try to get people into it.
Yeah.
And then, Fortnite being Fortnite.
And what's their insane number? It's like 200 million.
200 million,
Fortnite?
something like that.
But I mean,
yeah.
that's every platform though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's not 200 million people with this store.
It's got to be a
installed.
pretty decent size of like phone.
Yeah.
users
Sure,
and
sure.
then
But don't you still, like across the board, you tie it
I guess
to an
you have to
Epic
have an
account,
Epic
right?
account,
So
yeah.
it's theoretically people that have an Epic
Yeah.
account that
Which
if they
like,
were
might not have it on their computer.
Yeah, if they
just-
were to ever buy a computer, they would be, hey, you've already got some stuff on this. So
I'm gonna stake a claim here. You should have a computer.
Yeah. Did you hear smartphones are on the way out?
Computers are
that's right,
cool.
computers are back.
Computers
is that what
back.
Drake told you?
It's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Drake made computing cool.
I think that's all the big stuff: the free games, the exclusivity, the revenue split stuff.
Yeah, we got into the rev split stuff last
yeah,
week because I think that's before it launched. They were out there talking about that.
I think that's pretty much everything they've said at this point. You made it sound at the top of the show like you don't think the client is especially great.
It's not.
I guess I would agree with you.
No,
It's an
that's,
early
uh,
access.
there was,
I barely used it. I've just
the-
fired it up and installed Hades.
The developer of Cook Serve Delicious was out there. He has a blog on Gamasutra kind of saying some of the same stuff, that it seems very underwhelming from a feature set perspective. And some of that stuff is stuff that they got out there and said they're not going to do. Like forums. They're not going to do forums, which I think is smart.
yeah.
And they were like, hey, if a developer wants that type of interaction, they can link to their
Okay.
Discord
Yeah.
or subreddit,
That's
or,
fine.
whatever the fuck they've got.
That's fine.
That can be on their store page.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff they talked about, is stuff that is just not there yet. Achievements, like mod support,
Yeah.
like a workshop equivalent.
Yeah.
And this is all stuff that they've said, like, hey, we're building towards this. We want to get there. And, they're being very curatorial with which games appear on the store right now, but they've said that they will open it up next year. And it doesn't necessarily seem like that's going to be something where they're going to have an eye to quality. It seems like when they open up the floodgates, they're going to open up the fucking floodgates.
Yeah, I mean, you see what it's done to Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't expect them to like go out of their way to try to do better with that stuff. I expect them to just be like, oh no, we're a store, sell your stuff. But it's weird for them to be the Fortnite company making this big push into this space, like trying to take on Steam, whether they're going to frame it that way or not, and not have they got a friends list and you can kind of chat and do some blocked stuff, but it's just the little bits and pieces of features you expect a storefront to have just aren't there yet.
Yeah.
And sure, they'll have achievements someday. They'll build in better mod support down the line. But
Would have been
for
nice.
something that's like making a first impression,
Yeah.
it seems weird that it doesn't.
That
At
client-
the same time,
It seems like an early access client.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
thing is remarkably bare bones when you just click around in
Totally.
it. Like there's next to nothing there.
at the same time, the games that they launched with, all three of them might not have mod support to begin with. So
Yeah.
maybe they don't need it yet. And maybe they won't need it until they
Yeah.
open those floodgates, and they'll have it by then. But I
really-
just think from a perspective of like trying to make a big splash and say, hey, we're here to be an alternative storefront.
Yeah.
It just seems like they aren't.
They're focusing entirely
talking
on
it
like
up,
the
but like
software.
right now, it's very,
They've,
yeah.
they've made a good case to developers for why they should go with Epic to sell their
Yeah.
games, but they could, there's definitely an opportunity for them to
Right.
make a case to customers as to why this is
like
a better
this is
experience.
better, friendlier, whatever.
Like,
yeah.
there
And
are some
so
things that-
far all they've said is like, hey, free games.
Yeah, like
Alright,
there are some
okay.
things that Steam just does horribly. Like the cloud save support on Steam is abysmal. You have
Yep.
like no control over it. Like it only works
And
with some
I don't
games.
know that this has cloud support.
I don't
at
think it
all,
does. That's
'cause,
what I
you know,
mean.
we played Hades on
Yeah.
the show on Friday, and nothing came in.
Like,
so
There's like a huge problem on Steam with review bombing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, being able to get a
So
mass amount of people to
they're
just,
not going to have reviews,
Yeah.
or if they do, you know, they're looking at it. I think is what they said.
like
And
maybe
then-
written only or something.
or
Who
that
knows what the
theoretically
solution
developers
is.
will be able to turn off reviews if they don't want them. You know, and that's something you
Ooh,
can set
weird.
per game.
Yeah.
That's such a bad solution. That's never going to be a good look.
If your game is good, turn on the reviews.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird one for sure.
The revenue stuff the revenue split stuff is great. Like that
Yeah.
that is a no brainer.
Yeah, more competition on that front, I think
Yeah.
is great. I just and whatever. Like it's they maybe don't need that stuff today, but I think if they had more of that stuff today, I think people would feel better about it. I've seen like more people like not necessarily for this than I would have
Yeah,
thought. And I guess like
totally,
you know some
totally.
people they get all theher games in Steam and
Yes.
they don't want to run multiple launchers, which I get.
I have seen a fair amount of belly.
But then
aching.
I've seen some people referring to it as the 10-cent
Yeah, that-
store
that I don't know.
in a weirdly
In a weird way, like this really helps Discord. Because if you think about like how you're gonna see people all over the place on different clients and stuff, Discord is
Yeah.
still that unifying. Like,
Right.
hey, these people are playing this game. These people are playing this game.
Yeah. That's
Did Tencent fully acquire Discord, or do they just
no, I think
invest?
they just invested.
I don't think they fully acquire anything. They
Because,
just like put
yeah.
little.
Like here are two new Tencent backed game storefronts on the
Right,
PC
yeah.
now, like kind of competing with each other.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah. But yeah, most of the complaints I've seen seem a lot more focused on just like, hey, Steam, like for all of its faults, Steam is a pretty feature rich, like mature
yeah.
client / launcher
And if you're
/storefront.
muscling into this space as and you're not, you know, like I feel like Discord store, I give it some leeway because like they don't have a history of this
Yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
you know they are relatively new to the space in the grand scheme of things.
And
you look at
Discord-
it and go like, but they also did some decent stuff
Yeah.
around the community ends of
Yes,
things.
Discord offers some stuff that Steam does not, like
Right.
like evidenced as by the way that Valve like desperately tried to play catch up and launch
Right.
a Discord like community
Yeah.
thing.
But like I don't know. I guess I think Epic is a big enough name, and they've got a big enough game with Fortnite to
Yeah.
where, like they've got the money to get this right.
Yeah.
Is I guess how I feel about
Yeah.
that.
And maybe 3 months from now, this conversation
Totally.
is old
I,
news.
I bet they get there. Like
Yeah.
I bet they get there before people even need any of those features. But
Yeah.
like cloud saves and that sort of stuff, like that's probably meaningful now.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now.
like just as an end user, you know, looking at two games or looking at the same game being sold for the same price on two services, like this one is pretty thin.
Yeah.
So
and I'm probably never gonna leave multiple clients open and running
really,
on my
Huh.
my machine.
I've started running all the ones I have installed just to like
keep things updated.
keep myself informed of how ridiculous it's starting to get.
Sure,
Yeah.
Like I
So
just
you
looked at my
leave Origin running.
yeah, like I looked at my
Wow.
tray.
BattleNet.
Yeah, like I looked at my tray over the weekend. Like I just want to like I want to bear the full brunt of icons in my system tree.
Not me, man.
And it's like Steam, Origin, BattleNet, Epic.
no TSRs, man. I don't want anything taking up RAM.
There's got to be one other one.
Oopie.
No, I don't run Bethesda all the time.
Yeah. So I mean, I run Discord and I run Steam.
Yeah,
Like my
maybe-
second monitor is pretty much big ass Discord window, big
Yeah.
ass Steam window. And it doesn't have to be Steam. Like it could be anything. You know, if another thing came along and it was fine. Like I'm not married to Steam
Yeah.
per se, but yeah, I don't envision myself like when I wanted to play Hades over the weekend. I launched the client,
Yeah.
launched Hades, and then quit out of everything at the end of it and did not leave any of it running.
I mean, it installs an icon for the game itself
It
to your
does,
desktop. You can just kind of launch the game and not pay much
And I
attention.
guess some offline games, I think this maybe came out of the Rebel Galaxy Q&A, if I remember right. I'm not sure. But I think it came out that, like, hey, if you are an offline game, you can actually quit the launcher.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool.
So I don't know.
Huh.
Weird. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a massive company with an insane amount of revenue. I'm sure they will get where they need to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a soft launch.
Yes.
Kinda feels
Softer
like.
than I would have expected.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right.
Epic.
No.
No.
It's,
Eh.
I mean, it's
Epic fine.
Yeah.
Epic
Yes.
fine.
Yes. All right. From the biggest news to the weirdest news.
This is the biggest news.
Fucking what?
Not like weird news.
A third Marvel Ultimate Alliance is coming exclusively to the Switch, developed
what?
by Team Ninja.
Fucking what? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all for this.
Sure, yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm still just like baffled how these things came together.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a little more
Funded by
worried.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be a little more worried about this if that Diablo 3 port didn't prove, like, yeah, the Switch can handle these kinds of games.
Except I don't know what this is because that trailer makes it look a lot more like a character action kind of game.
Oh, really? I didn't want.
Yeah.
That's why you got to watch the trailers.
Yeah, it's like some of the cinematics.
I don't want
I can see
anything
that.
spoiled.
Does it have Iron Man?
Yes.
Don't,
Probably
spoil,
has
don't
Iron
tell me
Man.
it's spoilers.
Yes,
Fuck!
there was a shot of Iron Man.
What?
Surely it doesn't have Captain America.
Why would it? That'd be ridiculous.
Um,
Yeah, see, I also did not watch the trailer, and now I am completely uninterested in this.
I mean, I don't know for sure what the actual
I
game
was
is.
I was about to say, man, if you were going to make a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for Switch, I would probably get the team what put Diablo 3 on the Switch to do that game.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a single shot in that trailer of like isometric overhead
Right.
Diablo style loot game. Like,
Yeah.
that may be what the game is, but
They
like,
can't- why even call it Marvel Ultimate Alliance
Yeah.
3 if it's something different?
Right. That's weird.
I don't know.
They had the circles around the characters. I don't know what you guys
Yeah.
were seeing. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it may just be the way the trailer is like framed. that
Okay.
They maybe
Yeah.
want to make it look more exciting than the
Okay.
actual game is going to be. But
Yeah, make it less exciting.
a lot of the attacks look very like,
Cinematic.
yeah.
In a way that, yeah.
I mean, this is the developer that made a bunch of Ninja Gaiden games
Yep.
and stuff like that, and say Metroid Other M.
Oh, action games
Why
like
evoke
Metroid
that?
Other M.
Why evoke that here?
I don't
This is
know.
a safe place.
It's a weird thing. I mean, I'm glad there is a third Marvel Ultimate Alliance game coming.
Yeah.
I just don't know what.
I don't know if I'm going to be glad after I play it.
I don't know what to make of it.
We'll see.
Also, unsurprisingly, it is completely Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like,
Oh, yeah.
all those treatments of the characters.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because that series predates all that stuff.
I think I just want Marvel Heroes back.
Yeah.
Or another game that is
like a
that style
consoleized-
of Diablo.
Yeah, I didn't get a sense if this is like that kind of loot driven thing or not from
Right.
this trailer. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely something there with Marvel Heroes.
This got leaked, I think, the day of the Game Awards, but a new Far Cry is coming. Far Cry New Dawn, next February. It is kind of more or less a direct sequel to Far Cry 5.
Okay.
Like, straight up says set in Hope County again.
So
Yeah.
they're using the same maps. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. This time they are owning the fact that it's
Yeah.
the same map and have a reason for it. Yeah. How much was Primal? Do you remember? Was that full priced?
I want to say it was full price, but
Okay.
I guess I don't know.
Okay. They announced this at $40, so
Yeah.
like they are not making
Okay.
a secret out of the fact that it's kind of a follow on to 5 and
Like the teaser trailer kind of put this in line of like, hey, this is taking place. Like if it's taking place after the events of Far Cry 5, then you are playing in a wasteland.
yes. Yeah.
that kind
Well, it's a pretty like lush, colorful wasteland.
Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
like everything's all overgrown with vegetation. Like
Oh, so like post wasteland.
this game-
Wasteland.
Post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
did you not watch this trailer either?
I watched the teaser trailer.
I watched
God
it.
damn it.
Teaser,
Okay.
yeah.
Like they're biting. Well, I'm sure this game was in development before Rage 2 got announced, but they're kind of biting Rage 2 style an
Yeah.
awful lot.
We were recording podcasts. I didn't watch any of this in Game Awards stuff.
Yeah. It's very pink,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of dune buggies and crafted weapons. and
Gratitude.
It feels a lot like that, but
I don't know that Far Cry 5 did vehicles all that well, so I don't know that
Hey,
that's...
it'd just be really nice to get like a post-apocalypse game that plays well, and because there haven't really been any of those recently.
Nope, definitely not.
The messaging has references to like a home base that you'll be building up throughout the game, but it doesn't necessarily sound like you're going to be building it manually. I don't think it's like Fallout 76 style build a base out of components.
The thing is,
There was a certain aspect of Far Cry Primal that was like you kind of building up your...
Yeah, it kind of sounds more like that.
It was fairly passive.
That just really goes to show you how bad Fallout is, that they're ruining entire genres and like subgenres of video games, making people worried about them before they're even out. Just like, post-apocalypse and building. Oh, this can't be good.
Yeah, it made it sound more like, I recruit new and familiar faces and train them there and build weapons there and stuff like that. It didn't sound like you're actually building the base itself as such. Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it's $40. They're doing a remake of Crash Team Racing.
Oh, it's a remake. Not a new one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They say it's rebuilt from the ground up.
Ooh.
For whoever was asking for that.
Crash Team Racing is one of the few non-Mario Karts that was really good in its day.
Okay.
So if you were going to do one, this is probably the one.
Yeah.
They've already got all those HD Crash assets.
Right.
Anyway.
It's Beanox doing it. I mean, whatever. I guess this was inevitable after that Crash Bandicoot remake was
super well,
fucking
right?
huge,
Yeah.
right? Like they did the Spyro thing. Now they're doing this. What else has Activision got kicking around?
Call of Duty Battle
Gun
Edition.
Yeah. Call of Duty Battle Edition.
What
the
is
best Call of Duty?
Right. How about Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Let's get
Bruce Willis.
Let's get Bruce Willis back in there.
And Poe.
Scan their faces. Do it right this time. Hello Games announced a new game. It's called The Last Campfire.
Oh, so it's a Souls game.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody watch any of these trailers?
Yeah.
No, I did not watch the Game Awards.
And
we were recording stuff.
All right.
They didn't show much in that trailer. Like,
yeah. Well, there's a ton of art.
Yeah.
Like they show it. They describe it as a Hello Games short.
Okay.
Oh
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's the developers of Lost Winds. Sounds
weird.
Like they've brought them in.
Huh.
And this is sort of a side project. Yeah. Like this is not like the next game from Hello Games.
What was Lost Winds?
There's that VR
that
game.
Weird. Yeah, I think it was VR optional, but it's like that weird grappling hook.
Yeah, it was like a
flight
VR kind of grappling
first person
kind of thing.
It was a weird thing.
Yeah, it had some neat ideas. It was like neat ideas for early VR.
Sure.
Yeah. This is totally not that. This is like an overhead. They describe it as like an adventure kind of game. I don't get a lot of sense of gameplay from watching it, but it's got a super pretty art style.
So I wonder if this is like the signifier that Hello Games is going to parlay some of its fortunes from No Man's Sky into publishing indie games.
That kind of seems like, well, sort of, but it also sounds like those developers are maybe under their roof now.
Oh,
I don't know. That's kind of how I read it. I could be wrong, but yeah, this does come off as like, hey, we did okay with No Man's Sky. Let's turn some of that into some other smaller games.
Yeah.
Again, like
takes money to make money.
Yeah, but literally it is under the label a Hello Games short. So it's
yeah, that's cool.
Who knows what that means, but it's definitely going to be a small scale thing. Obsidian announced the Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds is a different game.
I keep making that mistake also.
Yes.
So this is the game that is 2K published. So even though Obsidian is now owned by Microsoft, this game still comes to PS4.
And they had to come out. Obsidian had to come out and be like, "Hey, this is not a Microsoft game.
Right.
Like this is a separate deal with Take-Two that we already had. It's actually Take-Two's. What is their private
division?
Private division? Is that what it is?
You don't want private division.
Yes, private division.
Yeah.
It's their.
That's the most private of divisions.
I guess it's kind of like their little boutique imprint.
Yeah, it's like their boutique label for like Kerbal. When they picked up Kerbal was technically a private division release.
Sure. It's the fresh games of Take-Two.
Yeah,
yes, exactly. Yes, Mr. Mosquito.
Yep. This thing looks ambitious as hell. Like it looks like a full-on, like expensive, full-sized RPG from Obsidian. Not like they've been doing a lot of isometric stuff and like.
But this is first person.
Yeah, it's first person. Like you're
sci-fi,
exploring planets. Like the characters are very high detail.
Yeah, the people. I think the things I keep seeing people reference are Firefly.
Yes. The thing is like Firefly meets Bioshock.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
the Bioshock part is like there's a bunch of old timey advertising because corporations run.
Yeah, no, that sour face you just made when someone
Corporations-
says like, "Hey man, Firefly," right?
Corporations run this frontier, and everything is all like kind of old timey turn of the century pomade label looking design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. In a world where none of those properties ever existed, this would look cool and interesting. But like, I feel like this.
Yeah, when you
this
when you think
motif-
about it in terms of just like, well, Fallout is a thing that technically exists,
Yeah.
and also like they're billing this as like from the original creators of
Yeah.
Fallout.
Yeah, I guess in that sense, this
Um,
sort of follows on from that. But just that whole retro future aesthetic is kind of played at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the trailer straight up says from the original creators of Fallout and the developers of Fallout New Vegas. Like
Yeah, it's
that's that is plenty to get certain parts of the internet
are
losing their minds.
right. But like, if you dig into that, are the people who you think of as the people that made those great Obsidian games still at Obsidian?
I mean, Avalon is gone, but
Yeah,
a lot of those Black Isle interplay types are totally still there.
yeah.
Like a lot of the people, as far as I know, a good number of the people that worked on New Vegas, or some of them are still there. Some names.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Promising.
Yeah.
Like in theory, for sure.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely room for someone else to try to make a game that kind of maybe gets into that Fallout realm. Like maybe it'll
Bethesda's not.
Will it be more buggy or less buggy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Obsidian has its own track record for sure.
I mean, it's hard to say exactly what the gameplay is like, other than first-person shooter of some type.
Yeah.
Like if
Press a
anything,
button to freeze time and target different limbs.
if anything, the exploration stuff looks.
It's called
A little bit-
FATS. Fucking all-time stops.
Yeah. The exploration stuff looks a little No Man's Sky to me, like a lot of colorful alien
Yeah.
and vegetation type stuff. It looks promising. I
Totally. Yeah.
can't say for sure.
Did they just put a 2019 on that kind of generically, right? Or did they dialed in any
Yeah,
deeper?
yeah, it just
Okay.
says 2019, so they must have been doing this for quite some
Yeah,
time,
this is
way before Microsoft came along.
They announced that private division thing, like that we're publishing the next Obsidian game. Like that's old news.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
was kind of
PUBG getting a winter map, which is out on the test server now.
yeah.
I hear it's quite good.
Yes, I've heard the same.
From people who would know.
Mm.
Did not fire it up.
Snowmobiles,
Don't believe so. Sadly, no.
ATVs,
Yeah.
probably.
Hmm.
Skis.
They're adding a yacht to Call of Duty Blackout
Huh.
today.
Like a little map zone.
Yeah, like hey, there's now a boat out in this section of water where there wasn't anything before, and
Okay.
it's patterned after an existing Call
Sure.
of Duty multiplayer map.
All right.
That patch they put out today, I've not checked out. They added a character to multiplayer. I super want to see it.
To competitive?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's Reinhardt.
Like new abilities.
Free?
Yeah. Junker.
He's got a big
Junk-
shield.
junk head.
Junkrat.
A free
Junkhead,
character?
Junkman. Yeah,
Huh.
she's a hacker.
All right.
Oh shit.
Name's Zero because there's only 9 words
Is
you
the
can
O
use.
a zero?
Probably. I don't know. There's only like 9 words you can use to denote I am a hacker in big budget entertainment, and 0 is right at the top of the fucking list.
The makers of Ark Studio Wildcard are making what they describe as an MMO survival game with pirates, or a pirate-themed MMO survival thing.
Could you find some more genre words to
Yeah.
throw in?
The trailer-
Post-apocalyptic
Trailer looks
Post-apocalyptic piracy.
crafting.
the trailer looks
Survival.
decent.
Free to play.
Early access.
From what I've looked at, it looks pretty good.
Okay.
I've been lied to before on
I've
the
had
pirate.
I've had pirates games.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like a big multiplayer pirate game, there's an opening there.
I thought Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds were going to stay together forever, and they broke my heart, and I haven't trusted pirates since.
It looks pretty good. The map is huge, they say. There you go. There was a Dragon Age 4 teaser, or a Dragon Age teaser, whatever they end up calling it.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot there.
Mm-hmm.
They also ran an Anthem trailer that is out soon.
How soon is that?
February.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
Is this- I
it's
mean-
going to be a busy February.
Like, individual employees of BioWare have been out there sort of implying that a new Dragon Age was in development, but is this
Yeah.
the first time that EA
This
has
is the
ever
first
come
time I
out
think
and
they've officially said
flat
it,
out
yeah.
said it? Okay.
And because there was a lot of talk, I think even those same employees were like, "Oh yeah, the game kind of got backburnered because it's all hands on Anthem." Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
But Yeah, at least they're far enough along to say we're going to announce this thing so that it now is a game that has to be killed if it doesn't happen. But whatever. Not that it wasn't going to happen, but you know, like there's that. I definitely known of devs that have been toiling away on a game at EA for a long time without it getting announced, and they were scared because they were like, the game has been announced and they can just walk in and kill it at any point.
Yeah.
And so they almost want the game to leak or want the game to get announced just so there's like some paper trail that has to be accounted for in the event that the game doesn't happen, that it now has to be like a public thing that the company looks bad for or something in hopes that it sways them in their favor. I don't know if it ever actually does, but whatever.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a next year game. Is that possible? Probably not.
Dragon Age?
Yeah, probably
no,
not if they had to pause.
I can't imagine that
for
game
Anthem
being out.
Yeah, like the only way that works is if a different team has been working on it this whole time.
Right. I don't even,
from the sound of it,
man, I don't even know if that's a 2020 game, honestly.
Maybe not. Wow. Maybe not.
That and Starfield.
Oh God, that sounds ambitious for Starfield. Starfield's probably.
No, I mean that and Starfield shipping at the same time.
Oh,
not
yes.
necessarily
Yes.
both of them hitting in 2020.
Sure.
Sure. No, I don't know.
Which one of those comes out first?
Dragon Age or
Dragon
Starfield?
Age.
Yeah.
Dragon Age.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Starfield's a 2021, maybe 2.
Yeah. Here's
Yeah.
Okay, if Anthem tanks, does Dragon Age still happen? Or does at some point they just walk away from BioWare as a concept?
I mean, wasn't that kind of the gist of that reporting a while back? That like kind of the future BioWare sort of riding on Anthem?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, you know,
sounds dire.
Someone's feeling good enough about it to tease Dragon Age.
Yeah.
So
sure.
There's that. We'll see.
I don't know. If Anthem doesn't hit,
it better hit.
If Anthem doesn't hit, what does EA have?
Mass Effect and Andromeda, and then that is kind of a rough track record to come back from. We'll see. It played well at E3. And then Mortal Kombat 11 got announced.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I guess we're in Evil Raiden phase.
Dark Raiden.
Dark
Raiden.
We have passed all my knowledge of the canon.
Red Lightning Raiden.
Don't
yeah,
worry,
the lightning's red now.
Everyone else is too. Once you get into like game 4-ish territory, it's like, all right, Shinnok had the amulet, and then
don't say that name in here.
The Kamidogu. All right. They showed a little bit of Frost at the end of that thing.
Yeah.
Is that who that was?
And there were like multiple scorpions.
Wait, is that also?
Well, so there's a lot of character customization.
Right.
Oh, is that what they were getting at with that? Is just like
maybe
a
that
different
might not be
looking
multiple
scorpion?
scorpions. That might just be like, hey.
I bet it's multiple scorpions, like multiple versions of scorpions.
So I think you'll probably have. There was a leak out of Italy. Italian GameStop
All right.
posted some details on some of the creative character stuff.
Sure.
That made it sound like there would also be move sets and stuff like that too.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it could be, but yeah, also in the lore, who knows? Maybe there's two scorpions.
Yeah.
They've broken the seal on time travel
Exactly.
multiple times at this point. So who knows?
Yeah. That's my guess.
Not that it bothers me, but that trailer is like remarkably gory,
rude.
even by Mortal Kombat standards.
There's something. I think this is also out of that supposed Italian GameStop leak, which I just saw translated and actually see it much for myself. But the words "Gore-Tech" as one word, capital T, were used.
Like, doesn't
Scorpion
impale Raiden through the face with his spear at one point?
Something like that.
Like up close.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's all, yeah, you know, if you're that team and you spend a bunch of time working on T-rated Injustice games for a while, at some point you're just like, we need to fucking murder people.
Yeah, yeah. So the leak that was floating around last week that we didn't talk about last week because it's a leak, called the announcement of this game. That same leak also said that this game will have a Shaolin Monks style single player game.
That's interesting.
Or mode.
That could be cool.
Which
I'm
sounds
interested in this.
Pretty awesome.
I feel like we're also like post reboot getting back into that territory where the game started having really elaborate story modes.
Yeah.
So
because they have to do something. Like they can't just keep making that game over and over.
The next one of the Mortal Kombat 12 is going to be a 3D weapon fighter.
yeah, with like lights under the life bar to say like you're standing. You're not safe where you're standing.
Like a story mode in what do we call it? 9, the reboot, whatever. Like a story mode where you just fight, like just do straight up fights was fine for me when I was getting to relive the story of those first games in like this really cinematic way. But now that they're past that,
Did you play the X story mode?
Like the first hour of it. It didn't really grab me too much.
It was all right. For
Yeah,
what
I'm
it was.
sure
you
it's
know,
fine.
it's different characters and
Yeah.
stuff. Like it was all right.
But like the novelty of that first game was just like, oh, what were they doing at night at the tournament? You know, like
Yeah.
oh, they were getting into shit. Like that stuff was cool. Like I was.
It's just like the movie.
Yeah, just
Yeah. Now we're talking. Like there was nostalgic value to that,
Yes.
to the point that I was like, all right, I'm fine to just do AI fights for this mode. But now, like I could use something different there.
And the answer is always to combine the crypt of unlockable weird stuff with your story mode, so you've got some big elaborate world to run around, and all that sort of stuff.
I don't know if that Shaolin Monk stuff is true or if it'll be exactly like that, but that game is better than it had any right to be.
Shaolin Monks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was really good.
It's a super cool game.
So
I hope
that's
true.
kind of as expected, they're still on their every other April release schedule for this stuff.
Yeah, coming out in April as you would expect. They just announced it way later than usual.
They're having a separate event to show gameplay next month.
Yeah.
You got any like Dream DLC characters?
They've
No,
hit all of mine,
it's
but
really not.
jeez.
Like I'm not. I don't care about crossover characters from movies, so
I mostly don't, but then there's still like novelty in seeing the Predator there. It's just like it's less of, oh, I've been wanting to play as the Predator in a fighting game, and more of, oh, that's a character that actually fits kind of in the mythos of this.
yeah,
and-
I think they've chosen well.
Yeah.
But for me, conceptually, so for me, the characters of Mortal Kombat are way more impactful and matter more to me than the Predator or any of the other characters they've dragged in. You know, Kratos or, Freddy Krueger and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, well, that's cool. But you know who else is cool? Sub motherfucking Zero. And his
He's
brother.
ice cold, as a matter of fact.
You know who's awesome? Kung Lao. That guy can spin. His hat cuts people. That's fucking great. Johnny Cage. Fuck that guy. What a dick.
Well, then you're in luck, because one of the things that leak said is that Johnny Cage will not be playable in this game.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows if
He's
that's
gonna die.
Who knows if that's
in the
accurate?
story.
It's happened before. They put him on a tombstone in 3.
Maybe he'll be a DLC character.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, yeah, the way they've done guest characters, I think fits for them and makes sense. But it's never just not. To me, Mortal Kombat is the lore I care about, and the minute they start dragging in.
They
all
never-
these other
From The
external
Walking Dead.
They never do
yeah.
really drag the DLC characters into the main story.
No,
it's-
you're right. They don't. But
Yeah.
just like including them in there, I feel like
It doesn't really.
it cheapens it
Do you
in a
think
weird
dilutes
way.
it?
Yeah,
Huh.
where it's like I'm
not.
I'm
sure.
of the view that Mortal Kombat stands on its own
Yeah.
and
okay.
doesn't need that shit.
Agreed.
I don't know where else Jason Voorhees would go though.
Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
His down B is really crazy.
Right.
He stabs you.
Yeah, he stabs you. His up B is like an upward stab.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
One more story that I forgot. Joker from Persona 5 is coming to Smash as DLC.
Yep. I think that's cool.
It's the first DLC character.
I would rather it be a 4 character, but I still think
Yeah.
it's neat. It showed, and I think the announcement that they said along with it was like, this is indicative of the types of characters you're going to see for the rest of DLC. And that goes along with some earlier information, which is it's not Sakurai choosing anymore. It's Nintendo as a company is choosing who the DLC characters. So you're going to see a lot more of like these cross entertain. It's not going to be a bunch more Nintendo characters, basically.
Huh. All right.
Monster Hunter win. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen. They've got a Wrath.
I mean, you got Geralt coming to
Geralt.
Monster Hunter.
That's true.
Don't get ahead of.
Oh.
Do you think that
Sorry, jeez.
Do you think that Monster Hunter World not being on Nintendo platforms makes it less likely for them to include a Monster Hunter
You do
character?
fight a
Still good.
Rathalos in that World of Light thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
there
he's a
is
boss, yeah.
precedent.
Okay.
But,
but
Generations is still big on the
Yeah.
Switch.
right, but it's not.
It's
Is
not
that
Monster
the
Hunter
main
World. but
Monster Hunter anymore, or is that
That's
We
stuff
don't
just
just
World?
those have been
all right.
popular
You're
enough that they could totally justify it.
Yeah.
So what do you? I mean, what do you think that means? Who do you want to see? Like, who do you think is like missing? Who do you look at when you look at that roster?
So the
miss
weird
the
thing
missing
is you got to
characters.
rule out pretty much anyone from an M-rated game. Like
No Scorpion?
Honestly,
Metal Gear. Metal Gear's been M before.
Did it start? Yeah, I feel like that's the closest you get. But like anyone who's really like graphic,
Yeah.
it's not gonna play.
I'm missing Mewtwo, and I keep going through classic mode, and I can't get him.
Do you think Nintendo publishing Marvel Ultimate Alliance opens that door?
Oh, jeez.
No,
Sure, why not?
That would be a whole thing, but it'd be a pretty big deal if they got, I don't know, fucking Ant-Man in there.
Yeah.
That'd
Put in
be
a
pretty
Squirrel
cool.
Girl.
Yeah.
Like, what are the movies coming? Is Ant-Man the next one? Like, what are the next movies
No.
coming out over the next year? Because that's
Captain
probably what they would do.
Marvel?
Spider-Man's coming early. That's like the first part of Phase 4 or whatever.
Jesus.
Captain Marvel,
Mhm.
and then the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter movie when?
You don't want that, Jason.
You're right. I
See, the
actually
thing is,
Yeah,
like, I'm racking my brain about who I'd like to see in Smash, and it's mostly Nintendo characters at this point because that's who I've been thinking of up until now. We're like,
Does Snake use a pistol in Smash?
he has a sleep
Okay.
dart gun,
Does
yeah,
he?
landmines and grenades.
yeah, and a missile launcher.
And a
So,
missile
like,
launcher. Or the sleep dart might have been something they added in PM. I don't even remember if
I
that's a
did-
normal
I don't
thing.
remember.
Yeah, because
Sleep gun.
that seems like the
Like a gun.
yeah, a gun
Yeah.
seems like the line you would cross. Like, even grenades are somehow more comical.
And then like the
and
super
acceptable.
scope shoots like big yellow bullets.
Right. Yeah. Whereas if it was just like he's just pulling out his SOCOM, maybe that's a little rough. But I was thinking, like, do you put like a Jill Valentine, like think about like some of the
sure.
Capcom characters
Mhm.
that made it into fighting games and how that stuff
Hey.
worked out.
How about bonk?
How fucking bout bonk?
How about that bonk?
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
I actually think
Hashtag Team
I think
Bonk.
Bomberman should be in that game.
Oh,
I think
totally.
Bomberman's
Oh,
got the
yeah.
cutesy appeal and
Mhm.
stuff that, like, well, maybe they've got too much of that already, but I don't know.
Is it really enough of a traditionally Nintendo-related franchise, though?
Well, that's the thing. Like Persona isn't.
Right.
Right. And, Super Bomberman came out on the SNES a
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah, I
All
guess
bets
so.
are off. Like,
Yeah,
with that
they're
roster
kinda-
now,
yeah.
it's-
I don't know. The more they cram this thing with things that have next to nothing to do with Nintendo, the more I'm just like,
I mean, what
is the
there's
point
a
of this thing?
Pong thing in there.
Yeah.
huh.
There is a Bomberman thing. He's an assist.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, anyone who is an assist trophy won't be a character. So that's a lot of characters.
They've already got the model.
They could always upgrade
Come on.
somebody.
I don't think.
Come
they
on.
will.
Jason, how are you feeling about Monster Hunter World Iceborne?
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, a whole new area.
Yeah.
New monsters.
Is it just a new area,
stuffs.
or are they doing stuff to the old areas?
I don't.
It
think
didn't seem they weren't super clear.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, just judging by the trailer, they're actually like traversing to this land.
Okay.
So it seems like it's a whole new.
Okay,
area.
I saw some language that made it sound almost like they were going to kind of freeze the old maps too, or something
really?
like that. But I might have misinterpreted
Potentially.
what they
Yeah,
were going
I'm not
for
sure.
there.
But really, yeah, we've just seen a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, they didn't say a whole lot about it, but yeah, Monster Hunter World is getting a paid expansion called Iceborne next fall. They didn't say how much you will pay.
Mm-hmm.
And they also
You'll pay
only
what we
kind
tell
of
you.
announced it. The initial release will just be console and PC's coming later.
Did
From
they-
the looks of it,
Oh, really?
or
Really?
like PC news will come later.
God
even.
damn it!
Oh, did they say
God
that?
damn it!
Yeah.
They can't
Oh.
keep doing that.
Man, that's a
This
bummer.
is their opportunity to get things.
Like they kind of announced it
lockstep
as
with-
like it's coming for PS4 and Xbox One and PC will come.
God damn
That's,
it.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I did
weird.
not- I did
like
not-
I get it. Like they took their time to kind of stagger out the PC release to make sure that it was done right. But
Yeah,
now that
but
you
now
know,
it's done.
now it's done. Get that shit up to
So they
date.
just want to make sure that they get the full suite of events to run on PC as they did on console to
Oh,
keep
because
it in
they're
sync.
behind a
and,
few
yeah, 'cause
months?
it's behind.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I don't get it.
Surely not.
like this is the opportunity for them to get things in lockstep.
Because I mean,
you know?
they're already repeating events, right?
yeah
On
yeah.
console, you could
Okay,
just
well
like
then,
you could
yeah.
skip some of those repeated.
Not the seasonal stuff, but like some of the events they'll bring them back during seasonal events.
Yeah.
But yeah, PC's on a different schedule.
They announced a bunch of other stuff. There's some kind of appreciation festival coming up.
Okay.
Yeah,
I appreciate timely releases that coincide with all the platforms.
sorry.
Yeah, but you can't get funnel cake at one of those.
Yeah. I do like funnel cake.
Geralt of Rivia is coming to Monster Hunter World.
Cool. Yeah,
did
and they
you-
said that it's going to
He's
be
leaving Soul Calibur and coming to the.
Guy really gets around.
Yeah, they're going to be adding some mechanic around it. They didn't really specify,
Yeah.
like in great detail, but they said it's more than just a skin.
Yeah,
so
Doesn't
yeah.
that just isn't that going to end up just like Ryu or something, like when you
Probably.
taunt, he shoots fire?
maybe.
Like they're doing VO and story for that. Like there's a little clip in there
Yeah.
of just Geralt just being like, "I'm killing monsters is a specialty of mine." You know, just like they're trying to dress it up with some story, but yeah, I don't know how substantive that is actually going
That's
to
cool.
be.
Like that Aloy armor was cool,
Right.
you know.
It's just Gwent. They're just adding Gwent.
I'm gonna make my handler watch me in the tub.
Yeah. But yeah, Iceborne is the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about it almost like the I don't know what you even call these, like the Ultimate and the Generations type releases of the main games.
Mm-hmm.
Except this will bolt on to World. This is not a separate game.
Right. Yeah. So this is a different way of them releasing Monster Hunter content.
Right. It's an actual expansion.
Yeah.
So like for people who were waiting for like a Monster Hunter World G or something
Right.
like that, like some separate kind of Ultimate Edition, it doesn't look like they're going that direction.
Yeah, Monster Hunter World's going to be the base.
Yeah. Looks like they're
going
just going to keep
forward.
adding on to that, which I
Make
guess
this
makes
game
sense.
a
That's the modern way of doing things.
Except if that's going to stop them from overhauling all the multiplayer stuff that's broken in that game. That's unfortunate.
Okay. I won't get into it right now.
I mean, that would be, putting out an actual new release would be their chance to kind of wipe the slate clean and redo a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
but
I guess so.
maybe
I think they could.
maybe they'll do that work
streamline
anyway.
that stuff a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. John Romero announced a new game. I don't know if you saw.
Oh,
Is it a
yeah.
new game or is it a mod?
Oh, it's a new game.
What?
It's a Doom WAD.
yeah.
You're a Doom wad.
Excuse me, a Mega WAD.
You're a
Oh
mega
God.
wad.
Yeah, he was kind of making some noise on Twitter about like, I'll have an announcement tomorrow or whatever,
Yeah.
about like the next game from Romero Games. And
Did
then
he coincide this with anything, or is he just sitting at
it's
home
the
waiting for
Doom.
the Game Awards saying, "Oh yeah, I got a game announcement
Well, he
too"?
pitched it for the Game Awards. And They were
Okay.
like, John's not this time. Thanks, but
It's called Sigil.
Okay.
and I think it's the 25th anniversary of Doom. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so December 93. I think it was the 10th.
Happy birthday, Doom. You're old enough to rent a car.
Yay.
I think December 10th, was when they uploaded the shareware to that FTP server. Was it ftp.cdrom.com?
If
maybe.
not that, it's wustle.edu.
Yeah, maybe so.
The only-
might have been it. Maybe it was
The only FTP sites that mattered.
maybe it was the Urbana Champaign one. Anyway, here's what this webpage says.
Mega wad.
Sigil is a free megawad for the original 1993 Doom created by John Romero.
Mega wad.
It contains 9 single-player and 9 deathmatch levels. The free megawad will be released in mid-February 2019 and requires players to own the original 1993 registered version of Doom in order to play. Sigil is the spiritual successor to the 4th episode of Doom and picks up where the original left off. So that's like the top pitch at the top of the webpage. Down at the very bottom of the webpage.
Where the mega wad goes.
At the very bottom of the webpage, Sigil is a mod for the original Doom and is distributed as such. Doom and Doom 2 are registered trademarks of ZeniMax Media Incorporated in the U.S. and or other companies. Sigil is in no way affiliated with ZeniMax Media Incorporated or id Software LLC
Weird.
and is not approved by ZeniMax Media or id Software. Sigil is a trademark of Romero Games Limited.
That's some
It's
weird
a
fine print.
Weird thing.
Yeah.
What's a megawad?
A
It's
wad
like a
is
wad.
a wad is a level for Doom.
Yeah, all the
So it's a
Doom
really big
stuff
level?
was .wad.
Doom levels are .wad.
So it's just a big level.
It's a mega wad.
Oh, it's a bunch of levels.
Wads can contain sound effects like Homer saying
Yeah.
"dough."
Yeah.
It can contain graphics like images on the wall
Like
of
Tim
Homer
Allen's
Simpson.
face?
Yeah.
No, not that. No.
If you wanted to put Santa hats on all the imps and make them throw snowballs, that would be a wad.
you would put that in a wad.
Yeah.
You got a P wad, you got an I wad,
What do
and
you got?
apparently now a mega wad.
You got both.
I am curious. Do you know? Does this say anything in it, one way or the other? Will this run on original, actual Doom, or will it
if it
require an
requires
updated source port
some
like
source
Z
port?
Doom or GZ Doom or Zandronum? Some of these other updated Dooms.
Yeah, I don't even.
Will
know
this
what
run
I
on
own
base
at this
Doom?
point.
Oh,
Will this mega wad? Can this mega wad be contained within 1993's Doom?
He
Can I
talks about there's a Q&A on here. He talks about using GZ Doom to
Okay.
test it.
All right.
But he used Doom Builder 2 to build the levels. So we could go check that and see what the compatibility is. I assume if he's saying this is the sequel to Doom 2, that it runs on that stock stuff.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Mega wad sounds awfully big
Yeah.
in a way that like the original Doom engine might not be able to stand. Mega sound. Mega is right there in the name.
Like think of a normal wad
Uh-huh.
and then make it mega.
Okay, that's disgusting.
I love it.
I mean, at the end of the Q&A, he says he's working on other stuff. This is not like the thing he has been doing, but he is putting this out for free. Also, he is selling a big collector's edition box. The Beast
Sick.
box.
For a Doom mod.
The
Does it come with a
sigil.
Necronomicon?
The
Does it
sigil
come with
Beast
your
box.
very own physical version of the Megawad?
The box has art by Christopher Lovell, who I gathered has done a bunch of heavy metal album covers.
It should come with a floppy with Doom on it.
No, it comes with a 16 gigabyte, 3.5-inch floppy disk themed USB stick containing the Megawad.
No, thank you. I do not need floppy disk shaped USB sticks.
If you buy the Beast box, the game comes with a soundtrack by Buckethead.
What?
Yep. Okay. All right.
Actually, fuck! I totally.
Of course it
No,
does.
dude, that's actually. I forgot about the legit best thing in this package.
I am Buckethead.
Like, it comes with a print by the artist that did the cover. It comes with a sigil themed coin and a T-shirt. And lastly, a pewter statue of John Romero's head on a spike.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sign
Can I
me up.
get Buckethead's head on a spike?
No, that would not be historically accurate.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. I want to see what that head on a spike looks like. I want to know if it's current modern day John Romero's head,
I would hope so.
Or if
I
it's-
would want it to be.
or if it's the head from Doom 2.
if it's the head from Doom 2, then ZeniMax owns that.
Oh shit!
bet you're fuck, man.
Right? I mean, it kind of has to be.
Man,
His
It can't be
likeness,
too
though?
close. It can't
You're
be
right.
too close to
You're
that.
right.
Huh.
Yeah, they acquired that asset along with everything
Yes.
else. Shit.
They own the right to that representation of John Romero's face.
You know what? Maybe the fact that we're getting a new John Romero's head on a spike in 2018 is just as good.
And
It's a thing you didn't know you need until you
Yeah.
until
The
you
world
knew you needed it.
Finally, the world is ready. This is so weird. I'm excited to play some new Doom levels from John Romero.
It's a Megawad.
Yeah.
That
Megawad.
last level he put out. Didn't you put that was thing you were playing on UPF?
Yeah.
Didn't he make that?
I can't remember.
I thought he did.
Yeah.
Feels like that's happened 3 or 4 times at this point.
Yeah,
right?
you're probably right.
I don't know, man.
Not to this degree.
The next episode of Doom is coming out.
Megawads.
New deathmatch levels.
Yeah,
Megawad.
yeah, that's cool.
Megawad.
That is cool.
That's an M wad, I guess. That's a whole different type of wad that we were
Mwad.
not prepared to deal with
Yeah.
here.
Anyway,
I wasn't ready for any wads.
No, well, you got wads coming at you.
Now I have to know about normal mods and mega wads.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check back in February. That stuff sounds cool.
Okay.
Jeff, you wanted to talk about this weird Call of Duty Black Ops 4 release?
They did the thing.
Yeah. What's
They-
it called? The Battle
Edition.
Battle
This
Edition.
is only out on PC.
Yeah.
And it is
On
a
BattleNet.
Yeah, on BattleNet. It's a $30 version. It'll be $40 after some time in January. It is Call of Duty with just the stuff you want in it. It is the competitive multiplayer and Blackout. It is a zombies-free Call of Duty experience available for $30.
Yeah, so what are they implying here? That Zombies comprises half the cost of a Call of Duty game?
No, because normally it'll be $40, so it'll be 2/3.
Oh, that's a discount.
Yeah,
30,
it's a discount.
30 is a discounted
30 is the
price.
discounted
Okay.
intro price.
Okay.
But it will be 40.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's a third.
Okay.
Which is a little more sensible.
Yes.
I think half a little more. I bought it on principle. I was like, fucking yes, sell me the. I did not have the PC version
there you go.
anyway, so and you can upgrade, I guess, to get the zombies and still get all your season pass shit and all that other stuff. But yeah, it's a big deal for them to split out Call of Duty. They've never quite done it before.
It seems like the way it just sort of happened out of nowhere.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, like you would expect a little more attention on something like this.
And I think that this is something that maybe they want to get more eyeballs on the, like, hey, we've had people get into Blackout, but maybe it's tapering off on PC a little bit. Maybe we want to spike it up by making it, I guess now it's probably the same price as Battlegrounds, right? Because that's 30, isn't it?
Yes.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I'm honestly a little surprised it was both modes. I kind of was thinking they would just do a Blackout only thing for PC.
The unlocks between Blackout and competitive are tied together in a way
That's true.
that if they wanted to get the most out, if you wanted to get the most out of your microtransactions, you would need both.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's part of it. Yeah, if they did this on console at launch, I guess that's the thing, right? They sell to everybody who would buy it for $60 and then cut out the thing that maybe keeps people from spending the full price and bring it down.
Totally. It feels like zombies is this weird relic where they have to keep doing it for the people who really like it.
Yeah.
And those people are going to be we were talking a little bit about this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Those people I feel like are going to be console only players because if you were really interested in wave-based survival stuff, there's a lot of different options on PC.
You're right, and I had never thought of that, but yeah, there's totally a ton of other like deeper games for you if you want that type of co-op. You know, you could be playing Vermintide 2 or
the Killing Floor. Like I can think about
Killing Floor. Yeah, totally. There's a bunch of stuff like that does something similar but deeper and richer. And all
but
that
it's just
stuff.
like, oh, I've been a Call of Duty guy forever, and then when they rolled out zombies the first time, I got really into that, and me and my friends only play that, and so now there's this for people who wanted to try Blackout, for people who want to try who
don't want to pay that full price, and then you don't get the weakest part of the game, honestly. So that's tremendous.
Sucks for zombies fans.
Who?
Oh, they still got zombies.
There's no $20 package to just get zombies.
Right. Yeah, well,
they want zombies, they got to pay. With their life. Lastly, I guess we're going to talk about this Sonic the Hedgehog motion poster, which I gather is really just a fancy way of saying cell phone oriented video.
It's basically a GIF.
Yeah, it's like a very short, vertically oriented video. That
I just keep staring at the poster.
is that also the poster? Like the last frame, like the way
Yeah.
that video ends is also the poster.
Yep.
This is curves.
They
man.
gave Sonic.
Do you have it?
Sonic
Can I
a
just
buff,
see it?
right?
I
It's
mean,
been an
pull-
hour
I
or
can
two
pull
since
it
I've
up.
seen it, and
Somebody's been eating their Sonicos.
it's.
I can pull it up.
What are you implying about Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Sonico?
Not Super Sonic.
Okay, all right, you take that. All right,
Hang on.
They're not mutually.
Sonic the Hedgehog has
The spaghetti.
kissed a human lady.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he'll never kiss an anime lady.
Right.
Where he
Finding
draws the line.
He's got to stand for
He's
something.
like, I got to go fast, away from all this anime shit.
Finding the original unretouched version of this thing has already become impossible.
It's really haunting.
Like everywhere you go now, it's just like, oh, here's Gritty's face photoshopped on there.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
He's buff.
He's
They gave him human-like proportions.
human-like hands,
calves.
Yeah,
I didn't see the calves. I just saw the biceps.
it looks like
Look at his legs.
I don't like his shoes.
no.
Are they
think
pointing?
I think the shoes are okay. It's the hands being just kind of normal human-looking
Well,
hands that
it's-
creep me out.
The arms and
most.
legs
Okay.
are full human length.
Are they pointy shoes?
Like it's just
Pointy
they-
enough.
They look like running shoes.
What the fuck?
I feel like the biggest thing now is what are the eyes going to look like?
Yeah. This
Is
to
that-
me looks like someone wearing a. This doesn't look like a CG Sonic. This looks like, well, we had to put someone in the Sonic outfit.
Yes.
And this,
The Sonic
John
outfit.
Ralphio's inside
yeah,
of that.
Yes.
It looks
Oh,
like a
God,
human
can you
wearing.
imagine?
It looks like a human being wearing a Sonic bodysuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not like a furry, like a
Right.
like
No,
a
like
No,
a
yeah, no, that's what that's what I mean
like
by
a skin
bodysuit.
tight, but with
Yeah.
a giant head.
It's
Yeah.
like we're at the Sonic the Hedgehog amusement park, and I'm walking around as Sonic today.
It's like a
taking
wetsuit
pictures
with fur.
kids.
Yeah.
Kids are getting close to this. Oh God.
Not if their parents have anything to. Ugh.
This-
Also, on top of everything else, they have chosen to bill this movie on the poster as from the producer of The Fast and the Furious.
Another speed-driven series.
Yeah.
Honestly,
This one's all about family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all about family. Yeah, exactly. Big the cat.
Can't wait till
Is a
the
cop.
Tokyo Drift spinoff of
Is-
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Is Big the Cat in this movie?
I'm just gonna say yes. No, but the
Are we
actual
going to get
answer is
any other, like, is Tails going to show up? Is Knuckles?
you gotta.
Are we going to get a
Tails doesn't show up until Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
post-credit shadow
Knuckles
reveal?
shows up for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
I bet you he's gonna look like the Grinch from that Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, that's
But Jim
weirdly,
Carrey's
Jim
already
Carrey's
in there.
in it.
Well, no, but like he's gonna look like the Grinch. Imagine what Dr. Robotnik's gonna look like if Sonic looks like this.
But that's
Okay.
the thing. Like Doctor, who's playing Dr. Robotnik?
Jim
Jim
Carrey.
Carrey.
Right. He'll probably just look like a dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he doesn't
right.
even have a
Oh.
big old mustache.
He doesn't because everyone else in this movie is human, right?
Yeah.
It's just CG Sonic.
I mean, they were
think
shooting
so?
it down the street.
James
Yeah.
James Marsden is in this.
Yeah.
The cowboy. What?
Cyclops.
Yeah. Here are all of the roles, the named roles that have been cast and announced for this movie.
Give it to me.
Dr. Ivo Robotnik, Tom Wachowski, Sonic the Hedgehog, new girlfriend,
Who's playing new girlfriend?
Debs Howard,
Debs.
That's
Se-
good casting. right
Secretary of Homeland Security, Minivan Kid #1,
Fuck yeah.
Crazy Carl,
Classic Sonic
Agent
character.
Stone, Parisian little girl, businesswoman, minivan
Okay,
kid
so
number
Parisian
2.
little girl implies that at one point Sonic runs
Runs
so
so
fast he runs
fast.
around the world.
Yeah.
And
She said,
some
"Sakura
girl goes,
blue."
"Oh,
Yeah, that's,
exactly.
That's
Ooh la
totally,
la.
that's
Yeah.
totally the single shot of Paris that he runs through
Mon
frame.
Dieu.
He
Yeah.
Somebody-
runs up and then down
Yeah.
the Eiffel Tower.
And the Eiffel Tower like sways in the fucking wind like a palm tree.
All
Do
right.
you have the chili dog?
So, businesswoman, minivan kid number 2, JoJo, and Mrs. Porter. Those are all the named
But not
roles
Mr.
So no tails
on IMDb as
Yet.
of now.
Yeah.
yet.
I mean, that stuff may just not be announced.
Hey, it's
They gotta
time to
keep that
introduce you to
stuff
my
secret.
friend Miles. And it's like post credits and
No, yeah, no, that's like a phone call at the end. It's like, we're going to need some help for this one. Miles, you got to get over here. End of movie.
Do you think at any point they run at the camera away from a whale?
Yes. Maybe not from a whale, but they're going to run towards the camera.
I feel like that would be too savvy.
That would be like
Weirdly
the
enough.
like that game. That would be the only good part of that movie.
Do you think this movie has a somber version of Escape from the City performed by Adele, backed by Limp Bizkit in a like a Evanescence style configuration?
Yes.
You got to follow your rainbow.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Ugh. Just feel weird.
Who's voicing Sonic?
Ben
Ben-
Schwartz.
Yeah, Ben
Oh,
Schwartz.
John Ralphio.
I don't think we talked about it on this podcast, but you fucking owe it to yourself to go out there and find the clip of him talking to Larry King about voicing that role.
It's tremendous.
It is one of the funniest things I have ever seen on the internet.
He's really funny.
Go
Yeah.
listen to Larry. Just watch it.
That dude's BB-8 and Sonic the Hedgehog. That's
Man,
incredible.
That's fucking knocking it out of the park.
I mean, he's fine, but it's
Yeah.
it's the reaction from Larry King that really makes that thing.
I mean, is going to be up to like a solo bolo level? Probably not, but
Just a lot of singing in the Sonic.
yeah, weirdly,
A lot of show tunes.
Sonic breaking into song left and right.
Oh, what if it is a musical?
Yeah.
Why
what
not?
if it's a musical?
Why not? All right, let's read a few emails and then get out of here. Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is Tails.
God.
I'm on board then.
Yeah. All right. First email comes in from Jesse in Brisbane, Australia. As someone who doesn't have personal experience with the differences between PAL and NTSC versions of PlayStation games, the discourse around the PAL version ROMs on the PlayStation Classic is a little confusing. Is the issue that the PAL versions are inherently inferior, or that those versions are simply not what people in the US are familiar with? If the PAL versions had been universal, would there even be a problem? And if the PAL versions are so bad, why were they ever made that way?
Because the TV standards were invented before video games were.
Yeah.
And so what is it? PAL is
50 hertz.
It's 50 hertz instead of 60.
Yeah.
But it is a slightly higher resolution.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think is what the situation is. Or like a different color palette. There's another difference to it that like so it is better in some ways but worse in others.
And that has gameplay ramifications for certain games like Tekken, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
Where,
Tekken
like,
just
you
like
know,
straight up runs slower, right?
yeah.
Like if you set it next to the NTSC version.
Right.
Like it just, and it's not a frame rate thing because the frame rate is fine. It's literally the action is playing out more slowly, right?
Different games have handled it differently, so I don't know that I would feel I don't know specifically what Tekken is doing, but it would be a case where like you would have people comparing times in like F-Zero, and the times would or Uniracers or something like that, and the times would not match up between versions, and people would be like, "How are you getting these insane times?" And you'd be like, "Oh, the NTSC version like time is different in these two versions of the game because one is running 10 frames slower per second."
Also, when you flush the toilet, it goes
Exactly. Yeah.
the
There's
other way.
There's a whole thing. Yeah. So the PAL format, it's not really concerned anymore because everyone's kind of moved to just like standard digital 1080p, this and that, and all that stuff is very different. But when you go back to a certain era of games all the way back, PAL is a very, very big deal.
Yeah.
And a hassle.
Those weirdos.
Louis from the UK. Mr. Domino should have been stopped. His actions cause major injuries and or death in the later levels.
Oh,
What is with that game?
damn. I didn't know.
It's not nobody should stop Mr. Domino. People have tried and lost their lives in the line of
Mr.
fire.
Domino is not a hero.
Yeah.
He is merely unstoppable.
It's more of a warning than
Yeah.
anything.
No one can stop.
Mm.
In light of my rediscovery of No One Can Stop Mr. Domino, what obscure PlayStation 1 games would you want on a PlayStation Classic that would never make it to a PlayStation Classic?
Irritating Stick.
Yeah,
Mm,
Mr.
okay.
Mosquito.
Mr. Mosquito.
Damn it. Guard.
Pepsi Man.
Just, why not?
Is that a game for PlayStation? I
Yeah.
thought Pepsi Man was for Saturn.
Sega did Pepsi Man, but it might have. Is there a PS1 Pepsi Man game? I think there is.
Maybe.
I want my damn Tomba remake already.
All right.
Mm.
Those pigs are glorious.
Oh, yeah. Pepsi Man was on PlayStation in Japan.
Huh.
70s robot anime Geppy X.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I said it on the video we did, but I would have liked to see Einhander on there.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And also Tobal number 1.
I'll take Tobal number 2.
Yeah, but there's something about the weird blocky look of Tobal number 1
Yeah.
before they figured out how to smooth shade all those
Yeah.
polygons.
And they were smooth.
Like
Tobal 2 had a roguelike.
Oh,
in
I
it.
know. It had that weird dungeon mode, which
Yeah.
I never really played much of because it was in Japanese, but
There are translated versions of it out there now. And
Oh,
you can,
yeah.
you can go back
Yeah.
and play it and go like, oh, this is maybe not as
Yeah.
amazing as it seemed like
Yeah.
it was when I
Man, I
could
was-
not play it.
like, I was so pissed when that game never came over here.
Yeah.
I want God to bless the ring.
I don't know.
That game's okay.
It's not.
I didn't say great. God damn it.
Give me some Wu-Tang while we're at it.
Why not?
Gosh. Yeah, that is a good example of a game that would never come to the PlayStation
I mean,
Classic.
like honestly, like Thrill Kill, like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
put that
sure.
out in some weird official way. That'd be
Yeah.
bizarre. Not worth it, but
No.
kind of neat.
Nathan from Olympia, Washington.
Hi.
What is the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game?
Turtles in Time.
Is that 4?
Yes.
Or like it's the second arcade game,
Okay.
the follow up to just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first arcade game.
I like Tournament Fighters.
This
Personally.
one, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Turtles in Time is
That's the correct answer.
I like it's like it's a pretty good shift, it's like The Messenger. Halfway through, all of a sudden you're going back in time. Like, what the heck?
The original Ninja Turtles game for the Game Boy is not half bad.
Really?
no, it's all bad.
No way. Come on.
It's just
It was okay.
I mean, I played
it was-
hours and
look,
hours and hours
yes.
of it because it was one of the 3 games I owned.
Exactly.
But
Look, it was a different time, okay?
Is that the one where you have to go through the water stage with the electric? Like,
No, that's the
That's
NES
the-
version.
yeah, the
Yes.
NES one is a
Which is
different
a
brand of nightmare.
complete disaster.
God,
It's just awful.
I think there's a bad,
another game I played like way more because I was like,
Yep.
oh, I have this.
Uh-huh.
Turtles are good.
The fucking music is seared into my head.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a bad PS2 one that I played too much of.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that's good. I just played too much of it.
Yeah.
Email from Chris.
what up, Chris?
Does that stuffed mongoose have a name or a backstory at all?
Excuse me.
I find him relatable since my sisters say I walk like a mongoose because of my scoliosis. If he does not have a name, may I suggest Chris?
He has
Close.
a name.
What's his name?
His name is Agro Craig.
Okay.
He is.
Does he have a backstory?
He's lived inside the mountain, the Agro Crag from Guts.
Mm-hmm.
And in Guts, if you were up to the challenge, you would complete this.
Do you have it?
If you had it,
Yeah.
you completed this challenge, and then they would chisel off a piece of the mountain and present it to you as a trophy. One day they chiseled too much. Agro Craig propped out, ran away. I'm not sure how he ended up here, but
A woman named Mo that kept track of all of the leaderboards. I think she brought him here.
okay.
Mm.
And he is now a trophy of sorts, and sits with the winner of our annual Winter Games.
Mm-hmm.
The most coveted giant bomb prize.
That's right.
It is.
Robert from the Netherlands.
I don't know how you couldn't discern all that from just being a fan of the site. Like, I feel like that's just very common base
I feel like
knowledge.
this is all stuff we addressed last year.
Indeed. Robert from the Netherlands. I'd like to get a chat started about the sudden announcements of skateboarding games. After quite a long drought in the genre, suddenly 3 games are in development for PC and consoles. Skater XL Session and Skateboard, which is skateboard with all the valves.
Yeah.
Removed. Furthermore, Tony Hawk announced, and released by the time this gets read, a new mobile game as well, Tony Hawk's Skate Jam. I myself am quite excited for the early access release of Skater XL on the 19th of December, as I very much enjoyed the mobile version. Also, is mobile slowly becoming the gateway for new games? It seems more and more developers are releasing a mobile game first before diving into bigger things. What do you guys think?
You're taking games off mobile.
Yeah. I think this is just a weird anomaly for the whole like Skater XL being the follow-up to Skater, a mobile game. I think it was that for the longest time, the stuff on console was sewn up. And so if you wanted to make a skateboarding game, you had to find like a new way to do it, a new platform to do it on, all that other stuff. So, you saw people doing skate games for mobile, and some of those were pretty cool.
Yeah, just a lot lower barriers to entry on mobile.
Yeah, I never played Skater, but the trailer, the stuff they put out for Skater XL looks promising. So I want to see that.
So like a Tony Hawk style thing?
It seems like more of a skate style thing.
Okay.
Maybe a little more
And
serious.
like, Session is extremely skate, right?
It's extremely serious.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know that any of these are like duplicating Skate whole cloth in terms of controls and all that other stuff, but it seems like they are taking a more serious approach. Like I don't think anyone's making the wacky, I'm holding a pizza and grinding skateboarding game anymore.
Right.
Why not?
Because
Wacky
Tony
and
Hawk
goofy.
fucking 5 came out and it's over.
They killed it.
Yeah.
Hear anything about that Tony Hawk skate jam?
No, I saw they announced it and said, yeah, that's about how I figured this would go.
If it's out, I want to give it a shot.
Yeah, I think it's out in a couple days here.
Okay.
It might be the 13th. I'm not sure. We'll have to look.
I went to a premiere of a skate video thing in the Mission. It was very grungy and smelled really bad.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Skaters now, they're too serious.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, are
like
they?
we're in the fucking Dark Souls era of
Yeah.
skateboarding for sure.
They're actually all about skating and destroying.
Yeah, finally.
Alex from Columbus. This morning I woke from a dream about Hitman, though it starred not Agent 47, but another beloved bald protagonist, Kirby. Onlookers eyed the pink puffball with suspicion until he could gobble up some unsuspecting guard or tourist. His resulting hat or hairdo was enough to get the all clear from the general public.
Checks out.
Have you ever thought of swapping game characters between their franchises? Mario and Master Chief? Sonic and Solid Snake? Which series could benefit from a protagonist exchange program?
I would play a Kirby Hitman game,
Yeah, totally.
but
That
also
one's
like,
almost too easy.
Kirby is canonically, he's
That's what I mean.
the
like,
last character to survive
Yeah.
in Smash, and
Yeah.
they say that the light consumed everybody, but we know the truth.
Yeah. And like he's got the disguise thing built right in.
Yeah, it's
Like
Kirby throwing fire extinguishers at
That-
guys.
That one's almost too easy.
Trying to think.
Cooking Mama and Fatal Frame.
Give me a Fire Emblem game
Mhm.
that really plays into like the political intrigue stuff and the class systems and stuff, but put Solid Snake in there as the protagonist. Someone who doesn't know how to fucking use a sword but is still alright on the battlefield. CQ scene like dudes with axes.
Put Mario in Sonic and just realize how boring those levels are.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause Mario can't even run fast enough to get in these loops.
He can't even. Yeah,
Uh,
that wouldn't work out.
Scott in Detroit. With Steam discontinuing the Steam Link and the Steam Box also going the way of the dodo, how soon before the Steam controller goes on sale, and will it be worth picking one up? For the $50 it sells for now, I'd rather have an Xbox controller, but at $25, would it be worth grabbing one?
I've
No,
got one,
I don't-
and I still don't.
I don't think I know a single person who likes that thing.
Yeah, I can't.
I think
get
I
into
know
it.
a single person who likes that
Yeah?
thing.
Okay. You got me beat. But
I would buy one if the price got low enough.
Sure.
Just
But
Yeah,
more
but
as
you-
you-
I have one, but it's like it's not the final controller, so it's got
Oh,
slightly
really?
different buttons on it.
Mm.
You're a bit of a collector though.
Sure. Yeah. I get the meanest thing you've ever said. But
I don't
Yeah, I
gather
guess
that
so.
that thing is worth buying to use as a primary controller.
Like I could see it with
Nah,
like
I would-
RTS stuff because the right thumb thing,
Yeah.
pad.
It's kind of like a mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit like that. I
Like, if
suppose
you-
it could work.
I could see myself having one because I have a Steam Link and I don't always want to plug in a controller to it.
Mhm.
It'd be nice if I had like a thing that was always synced to it.
did you see the speaking of Steam and Valve? Did you see the Portal or the Portal reference in the
Yeah.
CS:GO?
Yeah. They came out and said
No.
hey, we're not making a new Portal game. Don't
Just-
get any ideas.
But that's of course they would say that.
Yeah, I guess.
It's in Building 3.
Yes.
Now,
That's the number
that's
they
the
can't
number.
count to.
I just appreciated someone putting number station, like a really good, somewhat authentic sounding new numbers station sounding thing. Like they got a little alert tone at the start of the audio and stuff. It's a well done little Easter eggy dumb thing.
Yes. Would you really want a Portal 3 at this point?
Yeah.
All the people who made
If written by the right, if
what I mean.
written well,
yeah,
sure.
that seems like a real tough act to follow.
Yeah, it is.
Tough thing to plug other people into and satisfy.
And also, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So, people's memory of how good those games are might start to be getting
A little inflated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
Question from John: Al Pacino or Robert De Niro?
Pacino.
Yeah, that was my first reaction.
More
Although
range.
I'm not sure
I
why.
feel
though.
like De Niro's good for sure. Don't get me wrong. But he plays a lot of very similar dudes.
Yeah, especially now.
Also, like
if you factor in like
De Niro,
post Golden Age,
Right.
De
then
Niro taking every project that seems to come his way these days kind of hurts this
the
question.
dirty
a little bit.
grandpa
it does.
himself.
The Dirtiest Grandpa. I'm sorry, this is a sequel.
I think I would have to
The
go.
Dirty Grandpa
Dirty
meets
verse.
an even dirtier Grandpa, Al Pacino. And they have to fight.
Oh man.
They shoot each other at an airport.
Yeah. That's the only way we'll get a winner.
I guess so. Oh God, they were in Heat together, weren't they?
Yes.
I was just trying to think, and I was like, oh, Godfather Part 2. Of course, they did a movie once. Tom writes in, heard y'all talking about trying fried chicken skin and thought you should know that Rooster and Rice, which I think is near you guys, sells them in little paper bags. Looks like the same kind of bag that cinnamon twists come in at Taco Bell.
Bull.
$5.
I've been there and never seen those. Maybe
Imagine
they
how
go
greasy
early.
those paper bags get. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I just don't need that.
In South City,
Yeah.
they put them in foil-lined bags.
Mhm.
Gets really, really moist in there.
Yeah, I
Oh,
bet.
sure.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll bring some in sometime.
Okay.
Please do.
Are they good? Do you like them?
Oh, it's delicious.
or is it not just
I mean,
a
it's
novelty?
just-
Sure
like,
it
it's
is.
probably
Of course it's
Have
good.
y'all ever
Yeah.
had pork rinds?
Yeah.
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 But like most pork rinds are like puffy,
Yeah,
puffy
those are
dried
like-
out,
yeah.
and like I'm not.
It's a similar principle.
yeah,
It's probably why so many Filipino people have gout.
Okay.
that'll do it.
It's a lot of sodium, a lot of fat.
One day we'll get to the bottom of this.
Oh
gout
no,
thing.
we know.
Okay.
We know.
Mike from Minneapolis. I was recently thinking about Ubisoft stating that there will be no new Assassin's Creed game in 2019. There are also what seem to be fairly solid rumors about a 2020 next-gen launch from both Sony and Microsoft. Assuming there will be a 2020 Assassin's Creed game, do you think it's targeting next-gen platforms? Perhaps they'll do what Black Flag did this generation, and it ends up being a current-gen, next-gen hybrid.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot they did that. Yeah, that was a.
Yeah, that
They
was weird.
straddled both. Yeah.
That was a weird thing where you could if I remember correctly, if you had the PS3 disc of Black Flag, you could put it in a PS4 and buy the PS4 version for like $10.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
it was a super weird thing of like taking a game from another console and putting it in there.
Yeah.
And then he says, what do you think the launch lineups of these next gen machines will look like?
Sports, cars, ports.
Sports cars.
Sports and
cars.
ports.
Sports and ports. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know.
you try to think about like what would be your big ticket.
Red
sequels.
Steel 3.
Okay. All right. Now we're
Alright.
getting there. Like, what are the big Sony franchises that they haven't come back around on? Like,
PlayStation All Stars.
I was about to say Uncharted, but that's not.
That's
You probably
that
you probably
has to
wouldn't
be.
do another
Yeah,
Uncharted
that has got to be done.
ever again, right?
Please.
Twisted Metal.
Okay.
That gets cars and ports.
Uh-huh.
Sony franchises?
Like, I'm just
no
trying to think about
idea.
like what is a Sony launch lineup?
Yeah.
Knack 3.
Now we're
Given.
talking.
PlayStation All Stars.
It's not going to be
Super
not
Knack,
gonna be PlayStation
a.k.a.
All-Stars.
Snack.
Okay, all right, yeah. I like it.
If I say it enough, will it happen?
If
I
you
think-
say PlayStation All-Stars enough times? No, every time you say it, I think it gets a little less likely.
Fortnite 2.
Yeah.
You're just tricking me.
I think they've kind of like run through all their franchises this generation, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't think of much that's like on the shelf.
Sly Cooper.
Metal Gear.
Like cool.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how to answer this question. 2 years from now might as well be a century.
It's hard to think about, like, 'cause you have to look at like what the announced lineups look like right now,
Yeah.
and then look at it and go, well, what's missing, and what would you do?
Yeah.
Like, I think Microsoft probably launches with a Forza. When does Halo come out? Does
Yeah.
Halo straddle the line?
Halo could totally be a cross-gen thing.
Yeah, they're making Gears games again, so at some point do those move in that direction?
Yeah.
When do those move in that direction?
Well, Gears 5 is next year, right?
Right. So if you want something at launch, that would be too soon for Gears 6. But would it be too late for Gears 5?
Yeah.
To do like hey, we're gonna port this up or something like that. Like, who would care?
Yeah.
It's not an impactful game. I think if Microsoft's proven anything is that they need new stuff, and I think their acquisitions have been along those lines. So they seem poised, I guess, at least to announce a bunch of games and have a bunch of games, because they sure did get a bunch of studios that are theoretically going to make some fucking games someday. Why not then?
Yeah.
Fable.
Oh, man.
All Stars.
Dude, yeah, what happened to those? Oh, right. There's that whole Playground Games has that second studio.
Yeah. That seems like it's either the send-off for the Xbox One or the intro to whatever's next.
Sure. Paul from Pennsylvania. Back in the late 70s, my mom was, this is titled My Mom's UV Sterilization Story.
Oh.
Because we talked about
We did.
ultraviolet light and poop a lot last week.
Mm.
Back in the late 70s, my mom was working as a pharmacist in a South Carolina hospital. One day, the hospital installed a UV light in the fume hood to help cut down on infections caused through contamination. They neglected to put up any signs warning of the new UV light or bothered to tell my mom anything about it. She proceeded to spend several hours preparing IVs under the hood and its light without the necessary eye protection.
Oh.
Unbeknownst to her, her eyes were becoming more and more injured. They ended up having to wrap a bandage around her head, and she lost her vision for 2 whole days. Luckily, it could have been much worse. Her vision did eventually return to normal, and the hospital, for their part, did institute better safety procedures after this incident.
And hopefully it compensated her.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Jesus.
That's kind of a
That's
lot.
so
It's the late
scary.
70s. No one got compensated for anything.
Yeah. Also, too bad Dan is not here to learn his lesson.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it'll take more than...
Yeah, you're probably right. That is fair. Greg from Olathe, Kansas. I'm thinking about building a bar top cabinet, but I recently discovered the GCE Vectrix. The 80s future vibe is great, and there is an active homebrew scene for a larger game library. I've never played the Vectrix or used a Vector screen, though. What is your experience with it? Is it pretty sturdy, or is the monitor finicky and prone to breaking?
This is the original.
Yeah, the Vectrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
All right.
can be a little finicky.
Isn't that, we got a Vectrix in the mail?
Yeah, we did,
And, like,
yeah.
the screen was not functional, right?
No, it's fine.
No,
it,
it was
works.
fine.
It
There
works.
was something,
yeah.
there was something
All
wrong
the
with that
cartridges
thing.
are filthy, so
Oh,
it's
is
like
that all it was?
It just everything needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
And there's a multi-cart also that is great.
Yeah, half the reason I took this email is because I had no idea people are fucking making new Vectrix games.
Yeah, there's
That's
kind
crazy.
of there's a scene for just about anything these days.
Yeah, I guess
there's
so.
like a new MSX game coming out
Yeah,
this
sure.
month. There's all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah, but Vector games in particular feels extra weird.
Yeah.
Or weird in a retro futuristic kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think? Should
I
he get a Vectrix for his? I assume this is like
that's not a substitute for a bar top arcade
Right.
cabinet.
Yeah.
Like the Vectrix is neat, but it is way smaller.
Oh, some of those sounds that it makes
Are great, but it's also got a buzz to it.
Yep.
Like the speaker's got a real analog.
That's one of the
noise.
sounds that
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah,
Also, how are you going to like emulate a Touchmaster on a Vectrix?
you're not unless you homebrew a Touchmaster and make some vector porno.
Whoa.
Now you're talking.
Hang on.
There's a scene for everything.
All right,
Do you have a Touchmaster?
I have 2 Touchmasters, or I have a Touchmaster and I have an off-brand Touchmaster.
Touchmaster 1, Touchmaster 2.
That's right.
Heyo.
You want to buy one?
Not especially.
You want to buy one?
Was one of those in the bar at the old
Yeah.
office? Okay,
Yeah.
that's where
I have
came
that
from.
one,
Okay.
and I got another one that is like the games are less good.
Okay. That's fair.
I shouldn't have those.
No,
You never know.
no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have a bar top arcade. Go get one.
I say get a full-size cabinet instead.
There you go.
It's not practical.
Fill up that floor space. All right. Last email. If you read this, please keep me anonymous. On a recent Bombcast, you had a short discussion about weird workplace rules. I have a doozy for you. For several years, I worked for the American branch of a European company. We were subservient to their geriatric English IT chief, who was a mainframe engineer from the 70s and formed company-wide policies after watching Sandra Bullock's The Net once in 1995.
Oh, shit.
Following is a list of draconian rules we were expected to follow. No USB drives on company property. They could be hacked.
Done.
Not wrong.
Well, yeah, true, I guess.
No cloud-based services of any kind.
Definitely not. The cloud
Bullshit.
is.
If you don't know
Safest
exactly where
goddamn.
your data is at any moment, it could be stolen.
He's right.
I suppose that's true.
No HDMI cables on company
There
property.
you go. Finally.
Some HDMI cables contain Ethernet, therefore they can be hacked.
What?
What?
Okay, all right.
No cars with USB ports on company property. They can be hacked. This rule was never enforced.
Good.
I could go on, but I'd rather point out events that happened under his tenure. Several URLs lapsed and were sniped by spammers and phishers because he forgot to renew them. A French subsidiary had their registrar account hacked and their URL forwarded to an erotic medieval fantasy webcomic.
Ooh.
It took 6 hilarious weeks for him to fix this.
Which one?
Oklahoma.
Yeah, which one?
Okay.
What wasn't so hilarious, our customer web forums were hacked by pedophiles and used to share child porn. Why? Because British IT guy kept his admin credentials in an easy-to-access text file on the website
Hey.
at www.companyname.com/passwords.txt.
Hey, it wasn't on a
but
USB drive.
and he knew where it was.
He did.
So it
It's true.
couldn't
It
get.
He knew
be
where
hacked.
it was.
As long as you know where your data is.
Yeah.
Did the passwords get changed?
It sure as hell wasn't in an HDMI cable.
No, definitely not.
Or car?
I keep all my passwords in an HDMI cable.
Right.
That's why they're so expensive.
The monster ones are.
The gold keeps
Best-
the viruses
best
out.
Yeah.
His company was eventually bought by Americans, and he was fired for his incompetence.
Okay.
You, sir, are fired for your incompetence.
There you go.
It's a fair cop. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for emails. Unless you want to talk about the Soldier Boy game console.
Nah, fuck that
Which-
thing.
Oh, Jesus.
A handful of people wrote in about. but
Whatever.
Dumb.
giving
You
that-
know everything you need to know about that.
Yeah, it's like the interviews he's giving where he's like, I think it's on the up and up. It's like, all right.
Fuck off.
Yeah, sure.
Like it's just a rebadged,
You went to Alibaba and put a fucking
Right.
Soldier Boy stamp.
right?
No, he didn't even do that. Like,
He didn't even do
some
that?
company probably came to
Yeah.
him and said, hey, do you
Hey,
want to
we
sell
can-
bootleg Apple Watches and
Yep.
AirPods and all this other stuff? We'll set up the site for you. We'll just put your logo on the shit. Like they're selling
Jesus.
Android phones. You want to talk about fucking dodgy, fucking unsafe phone? Like they're selling Android fucking
Yep.
phones with like a Soldier Boy OS Android variant on it. Like it says like SODMG via Android. I'm like, no, son, not gonna run that. And these things are just like bootleg emulator boxes.
Yeah.
Just like, you can get them without the Soldier Boy markup for way less
Yeah.
on like fucking Amazon. Yeah, that shit is wild. He's being taken advantage of.
I was gonna say, like, is the Soldier Boy name really that valuable at this point?
No, but like, this is the highest profile that any of those shit ass emulator boxes have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I looked on Woot.
Okay.
Amazon owned Woot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Boy, I haven't been there in a while.
Woot.com.
Uh-huh.
It still's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their electronics section, they were selling one of these fucking bootleg Nintendos.
Yeah.
It was like the cool baby entertainment system.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one on AliExpress.
Yeah, there was
Did it
like
make you say woot.
yes.
Man,
Yes.
dude, I have gotten some fucking Woot-worthy deals on Woot.com
and
over
like
the years.
the description of it was like a totally legal home entertainment system. Like even the people writing the copy knew this thing was fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And you look at the screenshot and you're like, that's Contra. This thing does not. You do not own
Huh.
Contra.
Huh.
And for like this Amazon, I mean, not that Amazon is free from fucking bootleg shit. It's fucking
Yeah.
swimming in it. But for them to call, like a subsidiary to call out and then write copy
then write the
around
copy
it,
for it.
acknowledging that like this thing is fucked up, but we got them for $60. I don't know. You want one? I almost fucking bought one. Like,
Oh, God, it's right here.
Cool baby. Yeah.
Cool baby.
That was just like yesterday that I looked. So yeah, it's probably still there.
Totally legal, non-Nintendo off-brand retro gaming system that may or may not be worth the hassle. 600 games and 2 controllers.
Like that's a good description of it.
Yeah. That's literally the product name. That's
Yeah.
not even in the body.
Yeah.
Like that's the name. They don't say which games.
If you look at the screenshots, like the only clearly
yes.
clear game is
There
Contra.
in fact, is Contra. Let's see. That looks like Rygar?
Okay.
Dr. Mario? Some kind of Wild West thing?
I mean, it's just, the cool baby name has been associated with fine multi-carts for years. So,
I think I'm just super weirded out by this 4-button NES controller.
yeah, it's bizarre.
It looks like that should not exist.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to everybody who wrote in. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Thanks to everybody who listened
Or watched,
Or
without,
watched.
without listening.
or
But
subscribed.
no one who
Hey.
did both.
Thanks to everyone who made games that we were able to play for this
That's right.
thing.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody else for something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're back to some kind of normal-ish schedule.
Yeah,
this
we'll take a look
week.
at some stuff. You can
Yeah.
look at that Monster
Yeah,
Boy,
Monster
and
Boy.
all that other stuff. I
Other
know
games.
out east they're looking at Just Cause.
Yeah, Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Some stuff happening. For sure.
that's right.
Yeah. Stay tuned to the website. It'll be there.
Yeah, we'll do this. Do this after show. Do this after show.
Yeah.
Do this after show.
After show coming up for the
Yeah.
first time in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're live, stay tuned for that. And otherwise, we'll see you back here next week.
It's practically common knowledge that guys are terrible of taking care of their health. Whether it's like a knee injury or a shoulder, bad back, whatever, guys are usually more comfortable just handling it, not even seeing a doctor. The same is true for erectile dysfunction. Studies show that 70% of guys who experience ED don't get treated for it, and that's why Roman has created an easy way to get checked out by a doctor and treated for it online. Roman's a one-stop shop where licensed U.S. physicians can diagnose ED and ship medication right to your door. There's no waiting rooms or face-to-face conversations, no trips to the pharmacy. You handle everything online. All you got to do is go to getroman.com/bombcast. Then fill out a brief medical onboarding, chat with the doctor, and you'll get FDA-approved meds delivered to your door in discreet, unmarked packaging. That's right, FDA-approved. This isn't some fly-by-night crazies. This is the real stuff. The real stuff that doctors prescribe, because you're chatting with a doctor. A lot of guys don't tackle this issue, but with Roman, it's easy to take care of erectile dysfunction. For a free online visit, go to getroman.com/bombcast. That's getroman.com/bombcast for your free online visit. Getroman.com/bombcast.